where we last left off, we were talking about Sandman at Cage of Death 3 and how you kind of wished death upon him at that point, mainly because I think he was embarrassing. You know, I mean, he was brought in for one thing and came in as like a total embarrassment.
Total embarrassment. And I really wouldn't wish death on anybody, but I wish that motherfucker would have fell. Actually, I should have went over and pushed him the fuck off of that thing when he's walking. The fucking, you drunken fucking bastard. If I were a huge show, fucking 2,000 fucking people in that building, fucking hundreds of people walk away, you can't even remember my fucking guy's name in the fucking ring. What a fucking prick. Thanks to you too, Todd, buddy. I told you I wanted the motherfucker sober and straight. You promised me sober and straight. What do I get? A fucking mess. Jesus fucking Christ. Ain't any more fucking talking about. Hack. Hack this.
You have your next date, January 2002. What changes were you able to make sure there wasn't that problem at the gate? You know what I mean?
You mean the where it was just very unorganized?
Right.
And people. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that helped, I hate to say it, was we had half the fucking people show up from the show before.
Right. That was a bad
probably
thing.
my fault. Yeah, it's a bad thing. But I mean, it's organization. Part of it's my fault. I think we fucking overdid it the month before with everybody. I think the shit that happened with the Sandman and some other shit just turned people off. And, you know, we wound up with fucking basically half the people. If we're lucky, we had half the people.
Right.
I think we did get some more security, some more eyes on it. You know, we were a little more prepared for it, for getting the flow of people. And I apologize to everybody that was there and the people who didn't get in because it was so overwhelming. But it was. I mean, I expected a crowd, but I did not expect that. I mean, it was huge. It was unbelievable. But I think everybody just pulled together after that, and we did have a little more security. I think at the time we had a security company with us. I think we were using them guys from New York.
Atlas.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I think sometimes them guys were more about trying to walk around and look like wrestlers than do their job. At one point, we even had a complaint that one of the guards was fucking taking money from the people, saying, "Oh yeah, here, I'll get you in," taking money, and then they would go to get in and they couldn't get in. And I apologize to those people as well, but I did hear about that, and I confronted the person about that, and I dealt with it, and we didn't use Atlas, I don't think. If we did, it was a few times after, and it just didn't work out, so we just went with our own.
The January show, whose idea was it to bring in Messiah at that point?
I'm going to say, I think Justice Payne was pushing for Messiah. That's if I remember right, and you know, I am getting up there. I'll be 39 tomorrow. My birthday is tomorrow. A lot of people will be celebrating tomorrow. That's Easter Sunday. I know you're not going to see this for a month. Yeah, but I think it was Payne. I think Payne pushed the issue. I really didn't know much about Billy except you would open a magazine and you would see a bloody picture of him here and there. Which we all know Rob Black bought his way into every friggin' magazine publication that he could. So I wasn't sure, about this Billy, you know what I mean, how good or he was going to be, or, just because he was in a magazine with a bloody face doesn't make him,
an
great
player. Yeah.
But if I remember, Payne pushed the issue. I think Payne picked him up at the airport. I think Payne brought him to my home and introduced me to him, and I think Payne even took him home. I think he stayed with Payne the first time he came in.
Right, because they were tight in the beginning.
Yeah.
You've had enough guys in and out of your locker room. Did you think he would become that big of an impact player for your company? Not initially, definitely, but after that night?
Initially, no. I'll be honest, even after, that night, I still had my doubts, because sometimes the first time you see somebody, it's like, wow, yeah, and they'll go for him. And I've watched some things. I watched Billy, what he did in the ring, and I wasn't keen on everything he did. I mean, I love Billy to death. We don't talk all the time or anything anymore, and I actually even stopped using him. But I mean, he moved away and he got his girl and everything. So things changed, but. Great guy, great personality, very respectful. When I took him other places, other countries, he was one of the most respectful guys. He watched out for the other boys. Thanks, Billy. And that the personality, I think the personality was the biggest thing for me, and the way he represented himself,
Right.
being very respectful. That was the best thing I liked about Billy. His wrestling ability, he would do just about anything you would ask him to do in the ring. There was no problem with that. Some of his bumps and things weren't my cup of tea. I'm going to be honest.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't like the way he bumped all the time, but he made up for it with his personality and his the juice. He definitely juiced good.
Right. Early in 2002, there's discussion of Ring of Honor starting it up. So you're going to have competition in the market where you went from, 2001, it was, you were the only game in town, came into Philly. Do you think the start of Ring of Honor could have been avoided? If people had more influence in CZW, or like, I know, I don't like to give people any props, so you can mention his name. Rob talked about maybe throwing money towards CZW.
Yeah, well, some people know. If you're a long-time CZW fan, you know that Rob filmed for CZW before Smart Mark. I'm going way back. He was here and did some stuff for us. Was never fucking great. It was mostly handheld, shaky fucking film, and he never wanted to fucking pay what he should pay or really do what he should do. He wanted to do everything his own fucking way and pay what he wants. And, well, it wound up kind of the same situation. I wound up getting rid of him. But he was always in my fucking ear, always trying to get in my ear through somebody, always wanting to make some kind of deal with CZW, always wanting to sell our footage or get back in or do something. And I was away. I think I was away, probably Japan. And I get this call about when I get home, I got to get with Feinstein like right away. He's got this big business opportunity or something. You got to go to his office. You got to meet with him. And who the fuck was it? Was it Barr that fucking tipped me off to
Probably.
it? Probably, because I know
Yeah.
Barr and him were, I don't know what they were, but, sorry, bud. Barr worked for him at one point. And so did Gargiulo. But anyway, when I came home, I probably was home a day or so, recuperated a little bit, and I went up to his office to have the meeting. And this is before Ring of Honor, and he wanted to get involved with CZW. He want. So I put my hands out, okay, pay me. What do you want? You want to buy the company? You want to be a partner? What do you want to do? And, he's, well, I want to promote it and I want to film it. And once again, it was just him trying to get his foot back in the door and get filming, probably push Smart Mark out the fucking door. Rob, I think he was the only fucking, the game in town, Then ECW died. He could never find his way, really, after ECW died. Besides his shoot interviews. But anyway, he didn't want to put nothing up. You know what I mean? It's all our blood, sweat, and tears. All my money in the beginning to fucking make this thing happen. And then he wants to just come in when it's fucking rolling and, and say, hey, I want to be part of this. And I wasn't doing it. Like, if he wanted to put some money up, then maybe I would have talked. But he didn't. So I guess he got salty and he went and started Ring of Honor. So as far as could I have prevented Ring of Honor starting, or did I even see Ring of Honor happening at that time? I didn't. But that's what he did. He couldn't get CZW, so he started this Ring of Honor thing, which is a hell of a fucking name, Ring of Honor, for some fucking pedophile who I seen on Channel 10. You fucking scumbag motherfucker. But their main fucking thing that they did, and it's fucking smart, it's jerked off, it's a fucking Vince move, you know what I mean, really. He went around and tried to steal, and stole the top fucking guys from every fucking small company around, including ours. Mostly the young boys, fucking sweet-talked them into fucking jumping boat. I don't know what you told them, you fucking freak, but you told them something, and you got him, and that's how he got fucking started, by taking the top guys from everywhere he could, probably lying to them and everything else, rubbing their fucking leg, I don't know, and he started Ring of Honor. Right in Philly, fucking, I don't know, 10 blocks from the fucking arena?
Right. Probably one of the main acts that you lost
Jerk off.
were the Briscoe brothers. You know what I mean? Like, you took them from next to nothing. When we came to Philly, had to have them go under the mask till they turned 18. What was your opinion when you lost them?
Shh.
Well,
Did that happen? I don't even
Yeah.
remember that.
right.
I think Maven had something to do with that. It wasn't me. No, I'm sorry. I'm just fucking.
I mean, what was your thought of losing the Briscoes? Because
I was more insulted probably, and I'm not going to say hurt. I didn't cry and whine over it, but
right.
there were a couple kids, they were good kids when I first met them. They seemed to be respectful. Mom and Pop used to come to all the shows. They supported the kids. Christ, the one kid, when he got hurt, I think when he got hurt, was it football? I actually hooked him up with my surgeon up here in Jersey, and the parents brought him up from Delaware to my surgeon to take care of his was his shoulder? I'm not sure. I think it might have been some shoulder surgery or something. But it was like that, and you could call down there and talk to
Right.
Mom, and it was just like back in the day when CZW was a family. They were just part of the family, and then I don't know. They left, and it just all of a sudden. Like what the fuck did I do to these kids? I was like blindsided. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, holy shit! Why would they fucking do this? Now, of course, the fucking pedophile was fucking offering a lot more money. He had money from his video sales and whatever else he fucking does, and that's what he was doing. That's how he got a lot of these kids. He offered them a lot more money than we could afford to pay them, even more than he could afford to pay them, I think. But he did it just to get the ball rolling, and them kids, they. Dollar signs, and I guess
Right.
that's why they did it. I've never done anything wrong to them that I know of for them to leave like they did, but money talks, money talks in a lot of situations.
Right.
Although I will take credit for doing Briscoe. I don't remember when it was,
the best
what
one.
year it was or what, but I know when I had them two wrestle each other, I knew that was going to be a great match. I
Right.
knew it. I don't pat myself on the back all the time, but them fucking kids, I knew if they went against each other, big brother, younger brother, fucking head to head, I knew they were going to tear it up.
Yeah.
And good job on that, kids.
So you start losing some talent. One of the shows we did, first license, when you did the license in PA, was it Rebel from the beginning? Or was it, or Dirty Deeds Darren Wise did the first show, right? The arena, probably.
I don't remember.
But at some point, Rebel becomes the main.
Deeds may have did maybe one show or
Yeah,
something
one
that
or
I know
two
of. I'm not
shows,
sure. Yeah.
So we
Then we wind up with Rock and Rebel,
right, and you do the show at his building over in
the Armory.
the Armory. That's like the first show where there's some new talent brought in because that
There's
day,
some Canadians there or something.
yeah, Ring of Honor ends up running that same day, so you're kind of shorthanded on talent. So
Okay.
that's the first time the IWS guys come in. I think you had the Ninjas and some other. What were your original thoughts of them? Because I think they came in through Lobo, who went up there and worked.
The IWS people have been trying to get into CZW for years and years. They've been around for a while. I don't know how
Right.
long, but I know
About 10 years.
About 10 years. I
Yeah,
know I've
11
gotten
years.
tapes from them over the years,
Right.
or letters or emails or whatever. Hey, look at this, and pictures like look at this guy. And I did look at the tape. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
I don't get to look at every tape over the years. I haven't. I tried, but I didn't. But I used to look at their tapes, and most impressive, Manny, right? Manny runs the
Manny
show,
run,
right?
yeah.
PCP Manny, yeah. He's a good guy, and he looks out for his guys. I liked him. I liked his
Right.
attitude, and he's not all about himself. He is like about his guys, the
Right.
same way I've always been.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, the way he handles himself. But the one guy that stands out from there, and I don't want to knock anybody, you know what I mean, from up there, because they come a long way. They drive all the way down here,
Right.
you know what I mean, to work. And everybody had their thing. I don't like that fat kid though, the fucking Mr. Wrestler kid. I don't know. He went to fucking
Kevin
ring.
Steen.
Yeah, I don't like Kevin Steen at all. Very bad attitude, very overrated. But I do like, and I liked him for a long time, but he just wasn't ready for CZW, was that Sexy Eddie kid.
Right.
Back when he had long, back when I was watching
When he had
tapes
the
of him, he had
long
long
dreads.
hair. Yeah. And I've seen him do crazy things, but then I would watch his in-ring stuff, and it was like, not ready yet. And I prefer to have the whole package, the in-ring
Right.
and the crazy stuff. But it took a while, and finally when I thought that he was ready and I brought him in as one of the IWS guys, that was fucking
Yeah.
That was off the hook. That was a big benefit to CZDUB. And I don't think he was actually, he
No,
wasn't up there at the
he
Army.
wasn't,
I know I'm getting
right.
away from it, but I'm just with the whole IWS thing. Eddie was somebody I was looking at for a long time. I looked at a lot of tapes of him, and I seen him. You could see him getting better and better. And he came here and he did his thing. Who else from up there? I don't know. The Ninja guys, so, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not over the top
Yeah,
for me,
just-
you know. I'm not going to knock them, you know what I mean? They
Right.
did their thing, but not over the top. There were some other kids, I think, from another part of Canada we had at that show that I think we only used them at that show that ripped it up a little bit, if I remember. I
Yeah,
don't
I
remember the
can't-
they weren't IWS, but they came down at the
With
same
the
time.
guys.
Yeah.
At that time, that was the first time M-Dog and Josh came in.
Is that the first time we used them
Yeah,
up there?
yeah,
Or is that
'cause
they against each other, right?
Right.
Once again, that's a thing where you put two guys, you travel around and wrestle each other all over the place. You can't go wrong. You know you're going to get a great match. And if I remember right, it seemed like they did have a good match. It seemed like everything was on key. I know the one like went running around the ring, and the other one was diving, and next you know they were landing on each other. I mean, so they were good addition for the moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
For a moment they were.
Yeah, because
You
that
had
will lead
the-
into other, you know what I mean, the whole,
Right. We had the what was the what do they call the one the cheerleader, you know. M-Dog or
M-Dog, yeah.
Inside
He's the
joke, I guess.
gymnast.
Out there, everybody says
The
the cheer. They say
gymnast, yeah.
cheerleader, I
Yeah.
hear or whatever. But hey, cheerleader, gymnast, whatever the fuck he was, he could definitely pull some shit off.
Right.
No offense, kid.
around that time, with the Ring of Honor starting, you start, you know, I mean, listen to more and more people, I think, like recommend guys. Like M-Dog and Josh were the first guys that I recommended to you. And then I think, you know, Top Rope Charles, like he was also recommending some guys, like some Southern guys. How were you able to balance, like, trying to listen to everybody and then still come up with your game plan of the shows? You know, I mean,
Well-
because you just get back from Japan now.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, my hands are
Right. Well, if you
fully
I mean, if
involved.
you remember probably better than I do. Just coming back, it was hard, and I think
Right.
I may have said this before. I'm not sure, but in my vision when I started CZW, it was supposed to be just a wrestling school, a place to train, work out, learn in the business, and then it wound up, you know, doing the Dare program shows, blah blah blah, and we wind up starting a wrestling company. And then it was looking so good, I'm thinking I want to build a 20-story building, and then Japan comes up. So I wind up going over to Japan, and it took so much, just the time there. Then you come back and you're jet lag. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but every time zone you go through, it's like 24 hours to recuperate from that. And I don't
Right.
know how many time zones, like 13 hours difference between here and Japan, or 14. So when you come home, you're just beat, you know,
Beat.
and it takes time. So my head just really wasn't in the game. So I was fortunate to have a lot of different people giving me different ideas and finding different people, you know what I mean? And then I guess I just kind of put them in the places where I thought they should be. And I
Right.
wasn't always right all the
Right.
time, but like I said, I was fortunate to have a lot of people that love CZW and wanted to help and put their 2 cents in. And if they seen a good guy or a good girl or whatever, you know, and say, hey, John, try this one. And I know sometimes I didn't try everybody, and I'm sorry, but some people didn't jive for me and some did. But I think I just tried to put the people in the right places, and it wasn't always right. It didn't always work, and then, you know, we might have had to switch something up, you know, or sometimes we'll be a one and done. They'd be here once and fucking out the door like that fucking CM Punk kid, you know what I mean? But
probably one of the biggest, riskiest matches you did at that time was the high stakes match. We're going in, you knew it was there to over an hour. And that had Flash, Payne, Mondo, and Messiah. You know, I mean, what worries did you have of, like, wow, you guys have to go out there for an hour, which is like non-typical CZW at that time? I mean, did you think it would deliver,
Well,
or were you like,
I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to, because it wasn't your typical Iron Man 1 hour type
Right,
of a match. So I
right.
mean, we still had it. If I remember, didn't somebody go off of a scaffold or
Yeah.
something? Right? It wasn't something.
Yeah, Flash
So I
did
mean,
the big leg
that's
drop.
the thing. I mean, and I think I remember telling them, you got enough of you guys out there. You know what I mean? You do your thing, take a little break somewhere, you know what I mean, and get your breath, and then get back in, and then take a big bump, and then he takes a break, and then go back in, and that's kind of the way we had to do it. But it wasn't just that like typical like Ring of Honor, mat wrestling, fucking
Right.
arm bar, boring fucking shit. I like it, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I like mat wrestling. I like the high flying, but it's an hour of it. It's just entirely too
Right.
much. You know what I mean? If it wasn't too much, fucking, you would see this MMA fighting do hour
Hour-long
matches
drawn.
instead of
Right.
15 or whatever it is. So, but anyway, I think they pulled it off, and I think adding that CZW style into it. I mean, because it was kind of an
something.
Iron Man match, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we called it high stakes, and I guess everybody had something to
Right.
lose was the whole.
Yeah, the belt, the career, the
Right.
girlfriend. Who pitched that? Was that Eric's idea? Was he the main proponent behind that at the time?
I don't remember. Mike. It could have been. Is that your recollection? Do you
That's
think?
what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Eric's. I've spent a lot of time on the phone with Eric and him coming up with ideas, and he always wanted to be a bigger part
Right.
of CZW than what he was. Christ, Eric even he interned for us with one of those fucking supposedly millionaires that were going to invest money. I mean, he spent a couple weeks working for a guy for nothing
Right.
to learn the business, and they were supposed to invest $15 million in the CZW, another one of those block walls that we ran into. Thanks for the 2 weeks, Eric, by the way.
And we'll get into that in a little bit. Your go-to guys at that time are definitely Trent. You're doing the best of the best too. That's where you really get him up to like the pedestal of kind of like the unstoppable force. What was he like as your go-to guy? You know what I mean? Like we've all, like you and I have both promoted shows and worked together on shows where you have that guy to go to.
Well, the one thing about Trent is he's not great at anything, and you have to know that. But he's good at everything. So when you add up all that good at the end of the match, 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later, it winds up being great.
Right.
He can put a great, but nothing's great all the way. But come by the end of that match, by the end, you're on your fucking feet, and and he pulled it off, and he did it again. And and he gives me that feeling when I watch him work. I love to watch him build, how he builds a match. Obviously, he's not quite as good at building matches as he used to be from the last few I've seen. Trent, hopefully you get yourself better. But I love to watch him build a match. He's the stalling pisses people off. It pisses me off, but
Right.
but I like the fact I know he's going to
Where
come
he's
back.
going,
He's
yeah.
coming back. You know what I mean? He's going to do it, and I won't say that he would do anything he was asked. He wasn't a big hardcore guy. He
Right.
didn't like getting thrown off of things. He didn't bleed all the time, but didn't like to lose. You know what I mean? He had his ego. That type of thing, which. To me, I've lost more than I won, so I didn't
Right.
give a fuck. But he had a champion fucking attitude about him, and he felt, I think, and I think I trusted him to go out there with whoever he went out there with to pull off a good match, one way or another. And I don't know if that's the way you felt about him, but that's the way I felt about
Right.
him. And he usually could pull it off. He had his problems in between. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's another one that even took off to go work for the fucking pedophile, you know what I mean, at one time. I think they even did a fucking shoot interview from what I understand.
Yeah. Did you think he was looked at as your golden boy, like from the locker room?
I think that Justice Payne, people thought was my golden boy. I've heard that said to me,
Right.
or rumors. Payne was never my golden boy. Payne was a guy more so out for himself. He used to wear a shirt that said "It's all about me." I think, and it was kind of
Shoot.
yeah, shoot, exactly. But he was about the company. He was about himself, but he did really want the company to be better and be bigger. And he would hit me up with ideas. He begged me to go on TV before we went on 48. He says, "We got to get on TV. We got to get on TV." I remember when I used to watch it on TV when I was a kid, when ECW was on, and then I'd want to go to the show because then I want to see myself on TV. He said, "If we do that, we'll have people wanting to go there, so they get to see themselves on TV, and then we'll get bigger." So I mean, it wasn't just all about him, even though he was a fucking pain in the ass, at times. But a lot of people thought he was my go-to guy. He was a champion for a long time.
Right.
He was another one. He's not a Trent asset. He didn't build matches the way Trent did, but he's had a lot of good matches, and
Right.
he did. He did some good stuff. He did a lot of good stuff for CZW. He really did. But
And he-
Trent and me, I never really felt, I never got that vibe from the guys or the boys. You know what I mean? That he was my go-to guy. Maybe he was. I know I've had people come to me and say, I want to be your Trent. I want to be your Trent.
Right.
You know, so I guess people did see that, but I mean, I don't think there was anything wrong with it. If he was my go-to guy, like when we first started, my go-to guys were my hardcore boys. You
Right,
know what I
exactly.
mean? Back in the day. And Trent came in way back too, but he was a
Right.
different kind of a worker.
Right.
He was a little fucking kid, actually. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he grew up, and I guess maybe he was a go-to guy. And I think maybe some people, I don't know, envied that, or some people might have hated it, but you can't hate me for putting somebody out there that does
Right.
their job and does
Yeah.
what needs to be done.
You always have to elevate someone.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's always going to be that jealousy.
And it's not just me doing it. And that goes
Right.
with everybody. Everybody thinks, oh, well, you made this person. You made that person. No, I didn't make them. They made themselves.
Right.
I provided a platform. I put them in a position, and then it was up to them.
And they
to
produced.
and you know, me putting them in the right place, yeah, it does help. It does elevate them. Putting them in there with the right people, you know, that helps them. But a lot of people, oh, you made them, you made them, you made them, you made them. I didn't make anybody.
Right.
You know, CZW came up together. It was everybody working together. You're only as good as the fucking other guy you're working anyway, you know,
Right.
on the most part. So, I don't know. Trent fucking knew what he wanted, in life for a while there, and he lays it all out in the ring. I mean, I don't know.
Right. One of the biggest events that year, Best of the Best 2, you bring in some different outside guys, Fleisch and Storm, and then B-Boy and Super Dragon. Like two matches that people still watch, and it's 8 years later.
Well, once again, this is something that you can do in the business. You know who you got. They're Super Dragon and B-Boy are both in California, both worked each other a lot, but they didn't work here on the East Coast. You got Jody and the other one over here, Johnny from England. You know
Right.
they worked each other over there. We bring them over here. It was easy for me to do
Right.
that. Do your thing. Go out there and do. That's all
Go
you got
out,
to say.
steal the show.
With B-Boy and the other one, head drops. That's what you
Right.
fucking guys do over in California.
Right.
That's what I want to see here. You know,
Yeah.
Jody, what do you do? Shooting star prep? Well, that's what I want. You know,
Right.
I mean, everybody asks, "What do you want, sir? What do you want?" Do what you do. That's what I want. That's easy. When you take guys like that, but then when you take Johnny Storm away from Jody Fleiss and you take B-Boy away from, the other one, it's a little harder then. Then
Right.
you're taking a shot. You think it's going to work between two people, but sometimes they don't jive.
What are your memories of the second Best of the Best?
What was that the problem? Did we have the kid from WCW on that one or no? The Mexican, Juventud?
No, that was the first one.
That was the first one. Okay, that's a bad memory because he was late. Wasn't he real late getting there, I
Yeah.
think? Yeah, something happened with that. You'd have to refresh my memory, Mike.
I mean,
We had Jody and Johnny. We had Jody and Johnny there.
Right, and then Super Dragon and B-Boy. The finals, you ended up doing Trent, and then you put the CZW aspect to it, where he did the gimmicks. Do you think that you needed to do the gimmicks in the main event? Because some people always talked about that, like, what if it would have just been a straight-up wrestling match in the finals? But, I mean, that was the first time that Trent really did, like, some table, some ladder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was the big marquee event, knowing people aren't going to see so much of the hardcore that you want to try and introduce that little
bit? Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. It's just giving them a little bit of that CZW style. You know what I mean? Even though people still don't notice to this day, CZW is fucking every style. It always
Right.
has been
Right.
from beginning back when you used to watch it. There's funny stuff, there's mat wrestling, high flying,
And
there's
hardcore.
hardcore. I mean, there's everything. But what got us recognized and what we're famous for is the hardcore stuff. So that's kind of when you hear CZW style, that's kind of what you think
They
of. You
think of.
give them a little bit of the hardcore, give them something in there. You throw a ladder in or a table or a chair. I mean, it can't hurt. I mean, it's the entertainment business. You know what I mean?
Right. On that show, we did a battle royal, and I think Ruckus brought Sanjay Dutt in the first time. Yes, he did.
Sanjay used to come to shows all the time. He used to hang
I
around
think that's
and
the
watch.
first time he got to work.
Yeah, well, he used to hang around and watch and asked to be put on, and I didn't know the kid. I didn't know what he could do or anything. And same thing with Ruckus. Ruckus used to come with the ring crew from Delaware, I think.
Right.
They brought the ring up, and he always wanted to work, and I didn't know until one of Rebel shows over there, was it over in Reading, at the Armory or one of those places, somebody told me, he says, yo, this dude Ruckus over there runs up the walls and does backflips. And I said, well, let's get him over here and get him to run up the wall and do backflip. And then when I met him, he goes, you don't remember me? I used to do the ring. I was always asking you to get on, to get on.
Right. Seeing Sanjay, did you think he would become, like that his stock would go so high?
Sanjay's a good businessman. Sanjay has his CZDUB style of wrestling, and then he has his everywhere else style of wrestling.
Right.
When he wrestles for CZDUB, or when he used to wrestle for CZDUB, our style, I mean, it's just, you got to give it your all, 110% out there no matter what, every time. If you can jump and do 2 spins through the air with a plancha,
right,
do 2.
Right.
Don't jump and do 1, or don't just dive out there, And when Sanjay's on, when he's out there jumping and doing his 2 or doing a double flip somewhere or whatever, I mean, he's on. And then he, as he was with us, I think he realized he had a place, and then he started backing off, not doing as much. Started wrestling other places and toned it down, and he was getting cheers for less in other
right.
places. But it's easier in other places because our people are so fucking spoiled. They've seen everything. You can't give them something for so long and then take it away. But I think Sanjay's a smart businessman. He made his money where he could. He went where he could. I know he did
right.
TNA, I guess, for a
right,
while.
for a while.
I know he's been to other countries, and he's been around. He actually didn't he have that Mark friggin' Helter Skelter paying him to go around and wrestle him? Is the last thing I heard he was doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard of that kid.
Yeah.
He pays people to let me on your card, and I'll pay to bring in the Ultimate Warrior. You know what I mean, and wrestle him. Yeah, but that's the last thing I heard he was doing. But Sanjay definitely he took off. But once again, kind of like Billy, very respectful, very businesslike. He came, took care of his thing, got done, cleaned up, and left. And he was good. He's good talent,
You think when he got signed and then came back, do you think he forget where he came from? Some guys.
A little bit. I had to tell him I want CZ when he called, and he would call me personally, which I don't
right.
deal with everybody personally.
Right.
He would call me personally, and I would tell him, I want CZW Sanjay. It got to the point I had to tell him, I don't want this fucking dude that's wrestling everywhere else. I want the dude that fucking, CZW that started here and did his shit here. All right, man, yeah, and sometimes he'd come in and do it, and then other times, he wouldn't. But I don't know. And again, I don't know if it's, I don't want to say if it's lazy or you're being smarter, because the less you do in the ring, if you can get over, the less you can get over with, the
right.
less hard you got to work, and if you can still get over,
yeah,
go for it. You're getting paid the same, I guess. I mean, some people get that attitude, but in CZW, most people don't have that. They come in and just tear it up, every time. So.
The main storyline for 2002 will evolve into you and Lobo, like ownership of the company.
Scumbag.
You don't mean that. What memories do you have of the no rope barbed wire you guys did?
Is that when he broke the ropes and was hanging upside down? He broke the wire through the one side, was hanging upside down. That's a freaking nasty memory because he had a knee problem, and
right.
I thought he was done. at that point. Did we have that fucking jerk off from fucking Delaware? And was he involved with that match? Was that one?
No, that's
that
later on.
That fucking monster kid with the makeup. No, okay, it wasn't that one.
Which kid?
Thin on top, spike friggin' things. I can't even remember his name. Osborne.
Oh, Glenn Osborne. That might.
It wasn't that time.
No,
because he fucked that. He was in a match with us once, and he just fucked it up. He was fucking crying after the fucking match. And
that might have been that match where he might have been.
He was like a second.
Involved.
He just blew anything he was supposed to do. He just fucking blew, and it was just horrible. That would be a memory of that match that I hated. I don't. What else did we do? Did we jump off anything in that one?
I don't think so.
No, we just kept in the ring.
Kept it. Yeah, that's.
We used the light tubes too in the corner.
No, and you had the big arm.
And the shit was coming out. Yeah, everybody's going, get in the back. And I'm like, yeah, I can see. I'm all right. And I kept talking, and I didn't realize it was that bad. I looked back on the tape and seen it, and you could see the blood was just squirting out like crazy. So, yeah, that's a memory. And that shit was just, it was just hanging out of me. One, you know, I'll give you a little something on that match now. A little story about that. Everybody always talking about this match with Terry Funk and Sabu.
Sabu with
Right, this big match, this big. Everybody remembers it. Best barbed wire match ever. I never seen it. I didn't know. So I go out there, and me and Lobo are going out to do our match, and you know we got to go out and do better than what they did, and I don't even know what the fuck they did, to be honest with you.
right.
Me and Lobo went out and tore it the fuck up, and I watched their match after we did our match, and I was laughing. I hate to say it, you guys are both great. You've been around for a long time. But no comparison to me and Lobo's match. I mean, I seen shit, supposedly what happened in there didn't even happen. It was fucking bullshit where he's getting taped up with duct tape over there
Right.
for nothing, and I'm literally getting taped up because my
yeah.
fucking guts were hanging out of my arm, you know what I mean? But again, no offense, but we got you guys on that. Sorry. Sabu gave me some good shots in fucking Italy, too. Had him in Italy one time, and I worked with him a couple times in
Right.
Italy. Had him over in Mexico, and he was punching me in the corner. And you know me, CZDUB.
Right.
I like to feel it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And you get these guys do these half-ass punches, looking like some weak MMA shot or something.
Right.
But he's got me in the corner, and he's clocking me, you know, with these little little shots, and I'm going, hit me, hit me, hit me. And he's hitting and hitting. I'm going, hit me, motherfucker. And he said, pow! He fucking knocked me a good one in the jaw. I said, that's it. That's what I wanted, you know. But yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that one. And I'll also never forget fucking Sabu fucking passing out on my fucking lap in Mexico on a fucking bus. Jesus Christ. I said, somebody get this motherfucker off of me. Super Crazy's on there, and he's like, boss, what's the matter, boss? What's up? I said, I think the motherfucker's dead. He fucking was sitting there talking to me, and his head just dropped in my fucking lap, and fucking slobber started coming out of his mouth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And Super Crazy and a couple other young boys come over, and they scooped him up, and they said, oh, it's okay. He always gets like this. All right, I said, the motherfucker looks like he's dead. I didn't even know if he was breathing. And they scooped him up off me and fucking drug him up and put him back in his own seat and fucking laid him down for a 5-hour fucking bus ride. I could not fucking believe it. But woke up later that fucking night and went out and did a fucking match.
Right.
I don't know what was going on. I mean, brother, you were fucking out. I thought you were fucking dead.
Right after that, there's this sort of short, like, wild side invasion angle. And this is probably like you tried the EWF, the guys up in Pennsylvania, like that little invasion angle. Now you have this, with the Georgia guys, like this invasion angle. Like, what were you thinking? Like, why do we keep going back to these invasion angles? Because I think that was more of it, like Eric's influence on that one, bringing in the Georgia guys.
Who were they? Who were those? Was that Wild Side people?
Yeah, Wild Side. Yeah. You had like Todd Sexton, and I can't remember all the other guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just like a short-lived thing. Like, did you just see that that didn't?
You know what it is? I think it's all, I'll be honest, not necessarily the invasion part, but I think it was just trying to put our family back together. Because like we said earlier, Feinstein fucking started grabbing people's,
so you
guys.
Lost the Briscoes, the SATs,
so now it's
Red,
like we got to find some fucking people,
some new people.
And if anybody knows or remembers, like from the beginning, we're still talking about the beginning of CZW. I never flew a fucking soul in. I didn't fly nobody. I used as many local people as I possibly could. That was the way we got started. You know what I mean?
Right. It's cheaper.
And it just got to it's cheaper. And I'll be honest, I would rather use fucking local people. I mean, you got people flying in, they show up to the airport, then you got to rush over and do a match. You're fucking tired. I mean, it's hard to get that.
Or delays.
Or delays, problems, with getting people here. But I don't really know why all the invasion angles, why that was. It's probably just try to create something, some kind of a buzz, get people talking, I guess. But and obviously they all didn't work out. I know those two kids from, I don't remember the name. The one was a heavier one and a thin one from Wild Side. Do you remember what they were called? We were on TV at the time, and they did it. We were on TV up here. And we also had a deal somewhere like down that way in another state we were on. It was a UP,
What, Joey Corman and Samir? Those two or
No, they were Texas guys.
Yeah,
Matter
they
of
were
fact, he
Texas
just sent me a message recently trying to come back up here. I might have forwarded to DJ. I don't know. No, was it Trenchcoat Mafia? They were calling them fucking self. No. That's not what they called themselves. I can't remember. The one had longer hair.
Oh, Gabrielle and Azriel. They were.
Is that who they were?
Yeah.
All right, well, they were okay. You know, nothing
The
great.
Lost Boys.
No, not the Lost Boys. That was them fucking other jerk
No.
offs.
What were they called?
Well, one of them was a jerk off.
Yar and Wolf were the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
The Jersey
It
guys.
it wasn't them. I used the one. I used the skinnier one. I never used the steroid head one.
Yeah, but it was Azriel and Gabrielle.
Okay, well, one thing they did, and they didn't do this intentionally, but we had a TV spot down there in another state. It was a UPN or a 50 something. It was actually a pretty good deal, and if it worked out there, we could have moved in other places, and it was free. We weren't even paying to be on there, and they went to a cemetery. And this might have been something. Maybe it was a hate club, something with the hate club, maybe.
Right.
And they said we're gonna go through you guys like the fucking like the Columbine fucking killings or something.
Right.
You know, remember when that happened?
Yeah, because
that TV station fucking pulled us off the fucking air immediately. Fucking, and I called and talked to them, explained that we didn't even do it. It was filmed somewhere else, and then it got put on. And,
yeah, because they sent the promo up. I think.
Yeah,
Jeff
and
Bailey
I mean, if I would have picked up on it, I don't know that I even would have. You know what I mean? I didn't sit and look at everything. I always relied on you guys to put it together and put it out there. And I don't know, maybe if I would have heard it or looked at it, maybe I would have said, well, we can't fucking put that on in there. I mean,
it was a great promo.
Yeah, there's a lot of politically incorrect stuff goes on, but I mean, a lot of people died over that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And them kids didn't mean anything. They didn't mean anything by it, you know? They're working off the same thing Vince does. Works off fucking movie titles and whatever, you know? Or movie titles, or he steals other people's fucking show names or company names.
Next what?
NX who? What? The next superstars.
Right.
Motherfucker.
Best of the best too. That was the first time that somebody who had a lot of influence in the company came in. Eric brought in Michael. I won't mention his last name because he doesn't want to be referenced.
Well, I gotta reference him every now and then. I even know he doesn't like it.
What were your initial thoughts?
Eric didn't bring him in.
That's how he got the. He always says that's the person that got him in contact.
Pancos?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I told you this already. I don't know if we talked about this. He may have been emailing him. I don't know what he did. I don't know the whole situation. But what got him in was he was trying to get in and calling or texting or emailing or whatever he was doing, and he wasn't getting a respond. And in so many words, and Michael wouldn't have put it this way, but it said, "Hey, jerk off, look what I can do." And he created a website.
Right.
And I looked at this website and said, holy shit, let me talk to this guy. Now, if his way of contacting me went through Eric, possibly, I don't know. Because, you know, I was not an internet fucking guy. You know what I mean? Come on.
I know.
I got the iPhone, boy. Which I look at maybe once a week anymore since I don't do much of the wrestling. But if he was the contact that he made, it's possible. But Michael got Michael in. When Michael showed that thing, I drove to Michael's house up in Pennsylvania and went in and sat down. He brought me down some things. Michael actually ran a couple shows. I don't know if a lot of people probably don't know that. And he brought me down some things, like maybe it was a hat and a shirt and some tapes and stuff he made, which was nowhere near the kind of work he does now. No offense, Mike, but that shit was rough. But he had the right idea. He always had the right idea. I don't think he had the right stomach or the patience to run shows, but he still loved the business and he wanted to be part of it. And he's seen CZDUB, and I think he instantly was drawn to it. Believe it or not, you got this church going guy that's more of a fucking hardcore nut than I am. You know what I mean? But that's how he was. When he entered, said, basically said so many words. He said, "Yo, jerk off. This is what I can do for you." I went and met with him. And I told him right off the bat, I said, "Dude, there ain't a lot of fucking money here."
Right.
I said, "But what you can do for us, if you can do stuff and help generate money, and then then we can, maybe you can make some money." And I think right there, I handed him $200. I said, "But here's something to get started with." You know what I mean? I said, "But don't expect it all the time." But as like a good faith thing. You know what I mean? Just to show my appreciation, because I mean, I did feel like a jerk off because this kid was trying to get in touch with us and nobody was replying to him. You know what I mean? But I was glad I did. I'm glad he's still around because he is an asset to to a lot of people. CZW, you, and others.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Without a doubt. 2002, a lot of it was dealing with like the open challenges. Payne struck gold with Messiah. Then he does the Billy Fives.
Billy Five was a Florida kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, had a great look, but no go.
And thus till that. After that, it was like the open challenge was
Just no good.
yeah, like
It's just like anything. Wrestling is usually a build.
right.
And if you start at the top, what do you do after that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it just didn't work after that. It didn't. And the Billy Five, like I said, great build, but just
They didn't click.
Didn't click. And I just don't think he fit. He didn't fit the CZW. I don't think he fit here.
First TOD. How did it come about, and why in Delaware?
No rules and regulations in Delaware. That was the main thing. Because we did some stuff here, and then obviously
Right.
Jersey, we got shot down. That fucking
Correct.
cunt Whitman shut us down. And then that's really why we went to Delaware. And you can't go to Pennsylvania, obviously, because you got more rules over in Pennsylvania.
Right. At that time, we were still able to get away with some stuff in PA. Like that year, you maybe would have been able to pull off Tournament of Death, but I think you wanted to do a little more. I mean, we were able to do like 1 or 2 matches, not 7.
Right, over the top. Right.
And wasn't the first one kind of like a sold show, kind of like with the
Yeah,
venue?
Racks, right? Was that
Racks,
Racks?
yeah.
Yeah. It was basically he just paid. I think he paid $4,000, and then we went and did the show. And by the time the show was done, CZW lost money. But we got it done, and we filmed it, and it was the start of something. You know what I mean?
What do you looking back on? What went right? What went wrong?
With the tournament,
Yeah.
I can't remember what went right or wrong with the tournament, but I would say it probably more went right than wrong because we are now. I don't know how many are we up to at this point?
This year will be 9.
9. So
yeah.
I mean, it works. So more right went. I don't know as far as the actual show goes. It's not there, so I couldn't tell you. I don't even who went over. Mondo, Wife Beater,
Wife Beater, the first
Beater.
one.
Okay.
And that was the
very,
first.
Very deserving.
And that was the first time 2 mainstays, at least for a time period, Necro Butcher and Toby Klein came in. Because you contacted me, you're like, I need some other hardcore guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think the 3 outside guys were Homeless Jimmy, who was
Big bump off the truck, right?
Right, him and Mondo.
I believe he threw up when he hit the ground. Oh no, I don't think everybody knows that.
And then Toby and Necro. What were your thoughts on those guys? First time meeting them.
I'm going to say respectful. A lot of sirs, yes sir, no sir type of talk. I think they were both happy to be here. I think it was a place that they've heard about, and it was like they wanted to be here. I think they wanted to make a name for themselves here. And they did, you know what I mean, for a while. Obviously, everybody knows Necro excelled more than Toby did.
Right.
Toby's had mixed things where he wants to do hardcore and then he doesn't want to do hardcore. So, he's up and down with it, and where Necro just keeps going right along doing what he does. So that was really the only issue. I mean, I've never had any kind of problems with Toby. I like Toby, but he, in his own mind, I'm not sure he knew what he wanted to do or where he wanted to be, for whatever reasons. I'm not even going to go into. I don't know why, but Necro always just, did what he could do, and we got a whole lot of other fucking problems with that one too. I guess we'll probably go into as the years go on. I'm not even going to get into it. Fucking prick.
Right around then was the attack on Messiah in his personal life with the thumb. How did you get news of it, of that situation?
I don't remember. I don't think I didn't get as quick a news as I got when fucking Feinstein got caught being a fucking pedophile. The next day, I hate to go back to that, but I woke up the fucking the morning when this was on the news. I woke up in the morning with a fucking transcript, fax to my fax machine of what this motherfucker was talking about. And then
Right.
here it was on the fucking news. Sorry to go back to that fucking Fruit Loop. I don't remember how, I got who called me and who told me. But I know it was huge. I mean, I remember, talking to him and, and trying to, calm him down and all that. And, I really don't remember, Mike. I don't remember actually where the word came from. I know he did fucking America's Most Wanted had the fucker. You had
Right.
looking for them fucking dudes, and them fucking two jerk-offs still ain't never got fucking caught. And they know that fucking prick Black had something to do with it. And, they're all just walking free. In the meantime, Billy's walking around with fucking no thumb. They thought they did bust a fucking fish tank over his head.
Oh, yeah.
And then cut his fucking thumb off. They were going for the second thumb, and at one point they were going for his fucking dick. Luckily, Billy's not a fucking, a pushover, you know what I mean, where he fought his way out. I mean, he lost one thumb, but it could have been a whole lot fucking worse than that, But, yeah, that was a fucked up deal for him. That actually put Billy fucking over the top even more. I mean, and the way CZDUB band together and
Right,
around
that's what I
him,
wanted.
you know what I mean?
Talked about, you lost that sense of like family. Through that tragedy, do you think that brought your locker room? Because he came back, it was less than 2 weeks, I think, after it happened, and did the speech at the end. Do you think that then reunited the locker room?
I think it did. I think it helped. I think it helped. I mean, it sucks. Fucking Billy had to lose his thumb to get people, but sometimes it takes something like that to
Tragedy.
get people, to get back together. You know what I mean? And I think everybody got right behind him. And I'm sure not everybody likes Billy, even though Billy's a very likable guy. I'm sure there's people don't like him. I mean, Billy came in from nowhere and probably pushed some other guys out of the spotlight, and he's in it. But when that happened to him, fucking everybody was fucking, everybody was behind him. Everybody wanted to get their hands on whoever did that to him. You know what I mean? It was like a heart, felt moment. You know what I mean? It's still a fucked up thing. Still what happened to him.
I mean, did anybody have trouble dealing with it? You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys looked at you as fatherly advice, where they were like, "What the fuck does this mean?" Or just him being there. I think kind of helped heal those wounds, and the speech really.
I think so. I think it helped Billy too. I think everybody being behind him, because he had a family out there in California.
Correct.
Which part of this family is who had this fucking done to him, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? And he kind of lost that family. You know what I mean? And coming to us, and then when everybody responded to him the way they did, I think it helped Billy just as much as that happening to Billy helped CZDUB as far as bringing us all together. I think it was a fucked up thing. Once again, Billy, I hate to say it. I mean, you lost your fucking thumb over it, but I think it fucking bonded you and the boys and everybody. It really helped. It really did.
That fall
and the fans. I mean, it sucked everybody in. It really did. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge.
I agree. It got him. I mean, you always looked at what gets a different guy over. I mean, that tragedy really got him boom, is he was the baby face.
Did we have him show up with the thumb like a Tournament of Death, or nobody knew he was coming, or was something like that? Something in Delaware.
Did he come in that night?
Something. Didn't he come running in the ring?
Yeah.
I remember we did something with
him. And did the speech the 2 weeks later at the arena.
The speech was at the arena. Yeah, that was huge.
That fall, we do some more shows down in Delaware. What was the Steve C. Hellware Assassin connection to the whole Delaware shows?
The Hellware Assassin kid is the one who got the Rax, the original. He's the one that got us the building. And did I let them work the very first show? Is that the first show I let them two work each other?
They worked later on that year.
Okay, but it was within that first year when we were down there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what they asked me, they wanted to wrestle, and I said, you don't know how to wrestle, and I don't put nobody in a ring that's not trained. I just don't do it. And and they're, oh, come on, please, whatever, I'll do whatever. I said, all right, look. I said, you guys got me the building. Bring your ass up to the school, and I'm going to train you. And I says, I'm going to train you to do a match. I'm going to teach you some basic bumps, and I'm going to teach you how to do a match. And then when you go down to Delaware, you're going to do that match. And that's it.
Right.
And brought them up, and they did come up and sweated their balls off and worked and learned how to do a match, period, a match.
Right.
With very minimal basics, and let them go out and do their thing, and everything was great until I think the fucking kid cut his head off, I believe.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
hell
Fucking
or
gushing
assassin.
everywhere, just overboard. And I don't know if the kid's ever trained again since, to be honest with you, but he's still going around fucking thinking he's some kind of fucking superstar. That's hell where it is.
Right.
Steve C is some kind of a
Rapper,
promoter. He did some little movie thing. Steve's always got something going on. I mean,
Right.
he's not fucking stupid. And he also knows, I think Steve realized he's not a wrestler. You know, he wanted to do
Right.
it. He went out there, had probably friends and family down there. And I don't blame him, you know, for wanting to give it a shot and get out there. You know what I mean? It's exciting. But Steve's always got something going on.
At times, Hellware was, you know, assisted, and then he was also against CZW. Like, why do you think that? Just because
he wouldn't get you, because I wouldn't keep putting him out there in the ring. It would be, I don't know. It's just, if you're not trained, there's no reason for you to
Right.
be out there. You know, he's his own fucking hero, or
Right.
you know, and worst enemy, like you're ready to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, he really thinks he's fucking better than what he is. You know, and dude, you're not. Just because you can cut your fucking head off, it don't make you fucking great. You know.
or would take a big bump into something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
or
that was
take
it.
a big bump. Yeah, I mean, it's not a movie. I mean, one and done. You take a big bump in a movie and it's done. The movie's over with, and then we don't see you for a long time. You can't keep going out there over and over when you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
In that fall,
And not to cut you off, that kid
Right.
used to call me like his stepdad. He loved me so much. I was like a fucking god to him.
oh yeah,
You know, no peace for that brother. But I mean, you just train. If you're gonna be in a fucking ring, train, motherfucker. Go ahead.
on one of those fall shows, Sabian comes in for the first time. Little black kid wrestling in Vineland. You know, I mean, did you ever think, like a year later, he got another shot? You know, you always said opportunity where, like, you know what I mean, like Sexy Eddie, we'll talk about later, like, was he ready? Not yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Did you think he would become, like, a major player for you in years to come, or did he have that fire? You know what I mean?
What he had was determination, and he wanted it. He wanted to wrestle, but he was never trained properly. And I don't know if he didn't work hard enough, or nobody told him what to do, or what the reason was. But him and Joker used to come to the wrestling
Right.
school. I don't know that I ever charged them guys anything, because they were already supposedly be trained. But they came and used the ring, and you know, I would watch Sabian take a fucking hip toss, and he couldn't even take a hip toss. I mean, it's one of the first things you fucking learn. And you know, and these guys are already out there, probably got 50 matches under their belt, but you know, no, not ready. And I would watch him at the school all the time when they were training, and it took a long time, and then eventually it was like, all right, you know, you're ready, you know. And I
Right.
think we even probably put some matches on at the gym at the school to make sure it was going to jive before we put him in the ring. And then eventually he got it. But it was determination, and he wanted to do it, and he worked hard to get where he is.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he's one of the guys, and I hope he doesn't find it offensive that I'm going to say this, but he's one of the guys that came to me and said, I want to be your Trent.
He always said that.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
well, okay.
That was
I don't
always-
know. Well, now everybody
Right.
knows it. He wanted to be my Trent, but
Yeah.
Sabian's good at what he does, but he wasn't Trent. And I'm not saying that Trent's better or Sabian's worse, but Trent was a different style of worker.
Right.
He could adapt to other people very easily. Trent could always adapt to different people. That was one of his things he was good at, not great, but he could. Where Sabian, it depends who he's working. It's a little harder for Sabian to adapt, you know. And I'm not knocking you, dude. Everybody's not fucking, you know, can work everybody, including me. There's been a lot of slaps across people's faces over the years for me. But I do, but yes, he should have excelled where he is. He put the time in, he
Right.
worked hard, and he deserves anything. Where he is, he deserves to be there. And
Yeah.
he worked hard to get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of guys over the years that, like, finally got their break. You said Ruckus. Mondo would come to shows before you bring him on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where guys like,
I found Mondo by accident. Somebody else sent me a tape, and I saw Mondo on the tape and said,
With
"We
Eddie
gotta get that
Valentine."
kid." I don't know if that's
right.
what it was.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
they
know.
were doing that feud and, like,
But that may be who. I don't really
yeah.
know. We're not going to talk about Eddie right now.
when does the robbery thing happen?
I don't know, but I had FBI calling my house. FBI was on my caller ID when I woke up.
Because I can't remember when that had to be around like 02, don't you think?
We were at the arena.
We're just going to throw it out of the timeline. So what was the whole, how did that all come about?
I don't know I don't know why or what. All I know is I woke up to FBI on my caller ID. I didn't want to answer the fucking phone. I'm like, what the fuck's the FBI calling here for? You know what I mean? I don't need no problems. And I didn't answer all fucking day. And then I get a call from our public relations people, Mazer, and FBI found them. And Mazer calls me, so I talk to him. I says, he says, the FBI's calling here. I says, for what? He says, something to do with Mondo. I'm like, Mondo? What are you talking about? He said, I don't know. He says, the FBI wants to question Mondo about something. He said, they wouldn't tell me what. So I'm like, what the fuck? So now I'm calling Mondo all fucking day. FBI's calling me. I'm not picking it up. I'm calling Mondo. Fucking he ain't picking up. FBI's calling him. I'm calling Mondo. I'm going, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening here. Finally, it was in the evening sometime, I think. I get Mondo on the phone. I says, dude, I said, what the fuck's going on? I've been calling you all day. I says, why do I got FBI calling here for you? And he goes, oh, man. And I'm like, what did you do? You know, it was an old man. Like, he knew what they wanted. And he says, no, he says, it ain't me. He said, I think it's Eddie. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, Eddie was just at my place. I think he was there for a day or two with some big, tall, 6'5" dude with bleached blonde hair. And he says, and we went out bowling, I think, and got some drinks. He says, and Eddie was paying for everything. He said, and Eddie don't never pay for nothing.
Uh-huh.
And Chris Cash, God rest his soul, would know that because he lived with him for a while. The motherfucker still owes fucking rent, the prick. But he said, he says, I think Eddie might have fucking robbed a bank. I'm like, robbed a bank? Are you fucking kidding me? And come to find, he left there. I said, look, I says, they're calling me. I said, I got to talk to them. I said, they keep calling them. I'm putting them off. What do you want me to do? And he says, I don't know. Well, if they got to talk to me, they got to talk to me. You know what I mean? So I guess whatever happened and passed it on, everybody talked. Well, they wound up catching Eddie and fucking motherfucker made it all the way to California.
Wow. He
went in, and let me tell you, this is the stupid motherfucker. He goes in the fucking place to rob a bank, and he wears a fucking suit. I have no idea what that's all about. And he looks up at the fucking camera in there like it's fucking, like he's getting his picture done, his 8x10 for fucking wrestling. They looked at the fucking picture, and somebody knew he was a wrestler.
Right.
That's how, they started coming to me, and they said Eddie used to train at the school over here in Westville, so that's where it was coming about, something to do with the wrestling school. It was the wrestling school, and then his best friend, I guess, was Mondo, so then that's why they were trying to get him. But it was all just trying to get Eddie, and he robbed the bank of like $60,000 or something like that. Made it, and I did tell Mondo, I said, look, tell Eddie, I think it's what the FBI guy told me. He said, tell him to turn himself in. If he turns himself in, it'll be a whole lot easier on him. If they catch him, he said, and we will catch him, we're on the fucking way. And I did say, tell him to get rid of the fucking 6'5" guy with fucking bleached blonde hair, because that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
But I told him, I told Mondo, just tell him to fucking give himself up. And I think he did. He did wind up giving himself up, and he did his time. Then while he was in jail, he was sending some letters home to Johnny Kashmir and some other people, and talking about how he had a boyfriend and asking if Johnny Kashmir came out of the closet yet, and all that stuff happened back then too. So now everybody's like, Jesus Christ, Eddie's going this way and Kashmir's going this way. I mean, everybody always had fucking, thoughts about it, or figured Kashmir's a little funny. I mean, when the Japanese were giving Kashmir roses, the guys were giving him roses coming down the aisle. I mean, when I walk down the aisle, a chick gives me a rose, that's all good. But when you got dudes giving you fucking roses, there's something going on. Now, I don't know what was going on over there, because what happens in Japan stays in Japan, but there was something going on.
It's like Vegas, but even more so.
Yeah. From what I understand, Kashmir's pretty much out now and supposedly has a boyfriend that's like a stripper or something somewhere. I don't know. That's the last thing I heard about him.
Yeah.
Good for you. Fucking, never mind. I'm not even going to go there.
You touched on him earlier. CM Punk came in and did one match for you.
Mm-hmm.
What were your initial thoughts?
I don't even know why we got him there. He was in town. He was there in the building wanting to watch, so we used him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he ended up, he worked Pain.
He worked Pain, and it was fucking horrible. My opinion was horrible. After all night, Pain's gone. But now here's a problem here with the match. I can't just fucking blame it on the fucking Punk kid because Pain's also a pain in the ass. Pain will walk around all night and talk his match when he wants to talk his match. Right. Now you got Punk there, and Punk's the same kind of personality. So now he'll walk around. Image. He wants to walk around with his fucking nose up in the air, like and I told him, I said, dude, you need to talk your match with Chris. Because Chris kept calling me, John, we got to talk a match. John, we got to talk a match. And I would go tell him. I must have told him 3 times. He's like, yeah, I'll talk to him. Like, you know what I mean, with his nose in the air. I'm like, what the fuck? So they put the match together. They went out there and did it. And I mean, I don't have it right here in front of me, but from what I remember of it, I hated it. I thought it sucked. It just wasn't even. Should never even fucking happen. But it was 2 attitudes fucking colliding. Both of them kind of had the same type of an attitude. Not talking. I mean, Chris did want to talk, and the other one didn't. So it's more the other dude's fault. He came up to me after the match and says, what you think? I said, it was horrible. And he looked at me and says, you serious? I said, watch the tape, dude. It was horrible. I couldn't believe at the end of the match, Chris is out there putting him over in the ring, talking like, this is the kind of talent we need here, blah, blah, blah. And we did a big thing with him. Then we had Lobo up top going with the Pepsi, drinking the Pepsi and all. Like, did this big thing to kind of lead on that, CM Punk was going to be there. Because he might have been, I don't know if he was one of those challenge ones or what the fuck he was. But, well, I don't know. He did something right because Vince is fucking paying him up there anyway. But another thing that fucking dudes did, supposedly, this fucking CM Punk. This Makowitz bitch that writes for these magazines, these fucking wrestling things. Supposedly they're buddies, and the magazines fuck CZW every chance they can. If they say something good about them, read the next paragraph, they're fucking trashing CZW. I don't know what the fuck we ever did to them. But the shit that she would write, supposedly he used to write her shit and then tell her to put it. Now this is just what I heard. I'm trying to get nobody in trouble here, but he would be the one fucking writing. No wonder we're getting fucking bashed, you know what I mean, with this motherfucker. It was him fucking, running his mouth, and then Brandy would be putting it in a fucking magazine like she wrote it. And this is hearsay, so I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to get him in trouble, but it sounds very fucking likely. I believe it.
Of all the guys that came through your door, did you ever think he would end up being? He's probably the biggest star at this point.
What, with Vince? You mean?
Yeah, I mean, like.
Nah, you know what? I never.
You know what I mean? Like some guys you see, like, why didn't that guy make it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like.
Yeah.
I mean, he's.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have never thought that he would be anything special. I'm surprised. I mean, he's lucky Vince is using little guys nowadays, you know what I mean? Because he's not a fucking very big guy.
Right.
I mean, they got him talking on the microphone. I don't watch Vince's stuff all the time, but I know if I'm flicking channels, I'm like, this fucking kid's talking again. If Vince is letting you talk, you know what I mean? Something's working, you know what I mean?
Something's working.
I think he was also one of those types on the internet, used to fucking be on there talking to the fans and all that shit. A lot of Ring of Honor dudes do that, They get out there and they fucking make friends with all the fans and helps get themselves over.
Network.
Super Dragon, he's one of them fucking dudes. He's just fucking writing, I think he writes shit about himself and acts like it's somebody else, But, I mean, when he went in, I mean, he's making money, Vince, he's definitely doing something right. I can't knock him, but I will say the fucking match with us fucking sucked. His attitude sucked. He was a fucking jerk off. So,
that fall you do 2, not 1, but 2 I Quit matches with the wife beater. Because at this point, I think he's thinking about taking some time off, retiring or what. You know what I mean? Just slowing it down some because he was with you in Japan and you guys just totally
got killed.
Yeah, murdered each other. The first one you do in Delaware, and you do kind of like a fuck finish, kind of like on that, so you can bring it back to Philly. What are your memories of doing the 2 matches with him?
The only thing I remember, I believe, after the first match was how bad the fucking cold water shower felt on my fucking back, fucking with the getting the glass out of my back. Yeah, I think I remember fucking. I think with the first match, I'll be honest. I think I. Oh.
I mean, it was cold that night because it was like the end of October. I think it was like October 26th.
I thought I got squirted down with the hose after, and my back was just fucking ripped apart. I don't know. Did he give me that fucking vacuum cleaner thing laying on my back and drag me around the glass or something that night?
Probably, yeah.
Something to that effect.
And I mean, it was just cold.
Then the other one was when fucking Frank Talent got involved and tried to stop the whole match, wasn't it? Did we do weed whackers in there at that one or no?
At the arena, I think you did. Because right around then we were still that was kind of like the end of able to do hardcore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When Frank got in the fucking ring and shutting the match down, that was it was pretty close to that.
Right.
But I think I'm pretty sure he was hitting me with the weed whacker that night. I guess I did quit. Right?
Yeah, you did quit. Yeah.
Now, what happened down? Wife beaters never actually quit, right?
Right. That's the whole thing. Wife beater
never quit.
Wasn't there a towel thrown in at the or something in the one from Delaware?
I think so. I think that rings a bell.
The whole build up for Cage of Death 4 was the struggle of ownership with Lobo and yourself. The vignettes, I think, building up to that were just. I think that was one of the best builds we had.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
that was, if I remember right, that was a 17-month feud, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Don't quote me, but I think it was something like 17 months of building that and the different things, and it was. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, because you had to do your own tournament. You know, I mean, it was Zandid's Tournament of Death. That was one of the ways, like, it was explained storyline wise. Like, well, I can't do it here, so I'm going to do my own show in Delaware.
Right.
Memories, thoughts of that whole storyline.
I thought it was great. I mean, I still think about it. There was good matches along the way. It wasn't just it wasn't match after match.
Right,
every
right.
month.
It was strung out.
Yeah, it was strung. It was, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I even liked the one match when we fucking jumped off of the thing through the Pyramid of Hell bump. You know what I mean, through the fire. And I know all the fans, I remember, hated it, but they put the Eminem song to that, and it's like the song. I don't know all the words, but it's like, "Oops, there goes gravity. Oops, there goes gravity," and there we are, fucking going off in that during that part. That was probably a pan coast that put that. I'm guessing to put together, but just that little song. Whenever I hear that song comes on the radio, I fucking think of that. I mean, like it just that sticks.
Do you think? I mean, and that's an angle you did numerous times after that. Do you think that was one of the, like, you know, I mean, the struggle for power, the struggle for ownership? Do you think that was like, I did it perfect the first time, let's go back? I mean, it's an easy storyline to go to. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not a lot of storylines you can go with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you also, the storylines you go with, you have to try to go with them with your
believability.
Believability, but also your local guys that are very loyal that you know are going to be there, you know. And that's a problem. We've ran into problems that over the years with these fuckers that we bring in, and they, you know, they're supposed to be here. Hey, I'll be here, and you start a big storyline, then they're not here. They don't show up. Oh, like I'm going. Then they're supposed to be sick, and then they show up fucking in another country wrestling for somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just that part's like really hard. So some of our stories, like me and Lobo, were two of the originals. So that's why that went so good. We were both here, you know what I mean? Except for, I mean, Christ, we even started shit back when that started really back when I was going to Japan and he was stuck here, you know, running the show. So that was going on, you know, going on for a long time, you know what I mean? But that's why, like, maybe some of the other ones, I guess, that you're getting at were never as good as the first, you know? They're usually not, you know? It's like the sequel to movies and usually it's good. But
and you also had two guys that, you know what I mean, like, you two were both willing to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the heat for this one. Do you think it was the wrong idea to start off Cage Death 4 with the cage match? Because I think I was one of the people that said, you know what I mean, it took, the year before, it took so long to set up the cage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're supposed to build up to the big explosion, the grand finale, you know, the winner of the race, whatever it is, and we gave it to him right in the beginning. So, we shouldn't have done it that way, but you know, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's a genius. You know what I mean? We tried it, and
the tough thing there was the explosion went off early, right from the get-go. Remember,
Lobo almost had friggin' he was like almost got in his eyes and everything. Yeah. And somebody fucking put something out I read somewhere. I think in a fucking one of them magazines that I am a fucking electrician by trade and I'm highly trained in fucking explosives. Whoever wrote that, you fucking asshole. I'm not a fucking electrician, and I'm not highly trained in any fucking thing with explosives, you fucking douchebag. I wish I could remember who. I read it in a fucking magazine. Somebody fucking told me, I'm like, where the fuck? You know, if I get your fucking facts straight, you motherfuckers. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you think that match had the payoff to the build? You know what I mean? Like looking back at it, do you wish you know what I mean? Like that match would have been. I mean, like the no rope barbed wire was crazy over the top.
What did we do there? Is that when was that the DVD off the top on the one side?
You might have did that, but I think you're more
Dropped an
thinking
elbow.
when you had the Cage of Death 5 is where you had him and Dewey go off.
No, that was a double.
Right.
That was
crazy.
huge. That was a very underrated bump. That was one of
That's-
the biggest fucking bumps ever there.
Yeah.
Dewey still don't walk right. But sorry, bud. No, I mean, I thought we had a good match. That was when he gave me a DVD and we went through some tables on this side. Then I dropped the elbow on him on the other side. The explosion thing fucking pissed me off because it didn't, shit didn't happen when it was supposed to. And we've always had fucking problems with that, but it'd be nice if we
when
had.
you're an explosion expert.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an expert, we'd have them problems, jerk off. And the finish was him going through the glass and the fucking whole thing, the table, the glass, the chairs, and everything. It was a good finish. I mean, it was a good finish. I don't know. I liked it. I think the people went for it. I think they bought it. You know what I mean? It was back and forth. I remember at one point he gave me it was something just it might have been just as stupid as a suplex onto a trash can. And the only thing hit the trash can in that match was back of my calf, and I had a fucking Charlie horse so bad. It just stayed. It wouldn't go away. And I was limping around, fucking trying to climb up the cage, and it was just fucking ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And that was like before we even fucking went anywhere. So it was, I was hurting. And I don't like heights either. So every time I go up, I'm like, what are you doing up here, you fucking jerk off?
And then you make me follow you sometimes, but we'll get into that. At this time, right after that, the Athletic Commission is going to start cracking down on the hardcore. So, like, we do Cage of Death, it's the big show, but then it's a shitload of bad information, you know what I mean, like bad news all at the same time. XPW signs the contract on the arena. They're going to crack down on the hardcore. How do you do on the highs of, like, Cage of Death? It's always a big house, you know what I mean? And, like, okay, we're going to do one more show in here in 2 weeks, and now we don't have a building.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Panic. What the fuck? Here we go again. That was one of the problems with CZDUB. We were always running into fucking block walls. Right from the original building, I think I probably already talked about, the first building we were in. Fucking $50,000 later, dealing with a jerk-off building inspector, you know what I mean? And then we wound up at Champs, the soccer arena, and it was like came from like our own place. We could do whatever the fuck we wanted. Everything was there, no moving shit. And then we wind up in the fucking soccer arena, And Christ, we were what? Not even 2 miles away, and we lost half the fucking people. They wouldn't go that extra fucking couple miles. It was crazy. But it's just one thing after another. Every fucking time we run into a block wall, and with the arena there. That was it was a money thing. It was bullshit. There's a couple lawyers that own the building over there.
Right.
And I sat and talked with them. The rent over there was mostly paid by the bingo. It was all, the famous bingo hall. But the rent on that building, if I remember right, was somewhere around $4,000. And the bingo really covered most of that. And then the bingo guys would if the bingo would fucking pay $4,000, I mean, anything extra from the wrestling was, gravy, it was nice. But then when these guys came into the picture, Rob Black would throw in his fucking. But they came with a fucking one of them silver fucking gimmick.
Halliburtons.
Yeah, one of them fucking things. Walking around when I walked into the lawyer's office over here in Center City, fucking carrying this thing, and the one that was like a bodyguard with Rob Black. I mean, this is they told me about the whole way this went down. I says it's bullshit. He said that, and they pulled out numbers and showed them how much money they're worth and what they did. I says, give me 2 hours and I'll go fucking do the same. I'll give you the same paperwork. I said, it's just bullshit. I said, what he's showing you. But I'm basically arguing for the building at this point. And I wanted to fucking take the building over. I wanted to lease it, and I wanted to pay $4,000 a month.
Right.
And then they wanted the security deposit to boot. And the security deposit usually is a month and a half, 2 months security, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we should be able to get in the building for $14,000, $15,000. Well, now because this jerk off from California comes over and says he wants the building, they up the rent to $8,000 fucking dollars, and this jerk off agrees to it, and then fucking also agrees to pay a $60,000 security deposit. Here I am, all right, I'll give you $4,000 a month, and then I says, you know what? I'll give you the $8,000 a month, and I'll give you a $20,000 security deposit. At the time, that was all I could do.
Right.
I was going to go for it. Like I was an idiot, but I wanted to keep the building, and they said we can't do it. Even though I offered the same, I says, I'm going to pay you the same rent. I've been in here for how long? You know what I mean? I'm loyal to you guys. Why? You know what I mean? Well, you know, they came in, they're going to give us $6,000 security deposit. Big fucking deal, security deposit. You put it in the bank and then you pay the fucking guy his interest. It's nothing.
Right.
So, anyway, they went with this guy. After going back and forth with him, they went with that fucking asshole. And he gave him a bad fucking check. The security check fucking bounced, you know what I mean? Right from Jump Street. In the meantime, now I had to find another building. Like you said, where are we going to do our next show? So now we wind up behind some cheesy fucking porno fucking store over in 61st and Passyunk. And I go back there, it's a fucking shithole. There's no fucking lighting. There's no emergency lighting on the doors. The bathrooms don't fucking work.
Oh, they weren't. They just...
Yeah, it was just a fucking mess. And I didn't have much time. What did I have? A fucking month to put it together? 3 weeks to put it together? I don't know. And I went in there and talked to the guy, and I made a deal with him. It was more of a month-to-month. We didn't even know if we were going to be allowed to do shows there.
Right.
Because it hadn't been used for anything in so many years. But we were able to pull it off where they let us do a show. Or what did we do? 1 or 2 shows, I guess we did there?
2.
And so we went and we did our show, and we acted like, we were fine, don't worry about us, we got our new building, but it sucked. I mean, I hated it, you know what I mean? It was rough. The first night we were there, we had some fucking trillionaire fucking Egyptian that came to the show with some low-budget wrestling promoter who had Tatanka in town, whose show got canceled. And this guy's telling me about this trillionaire, and he loves wrestling, and if you put Tatanka in a match, and, you never know what he'll do for you. You got to treat this guy right, he'll invest. Like, this guy's telling me all this stuff. I'm not a fucking Tatanka fan. I mean, I really don't know you dudes, you know what I'm saying? But for CZDUB and Tatanka, just, it's not huge. And I think, did we use him again at one time after that?
No.
Or no, just that once?
Just that one time.
Because I thought maybe there's another act.
No, because they wanted to bring somebody else. Weren't they talking like, next month or in a few months we'll get you Greg Valentine or something?
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, I thought it was
crazy, yeah.
You know what it was? I worked with that fucking dude, Tatanka in fucking Ireland, I think. That's what it must have been like around that time I went over there and I worked with him. That's where it was. But yeah, I don't know. It was just ridiculous. But I did it. It's like you follow up every lead. You know what I mean? You believe what's it? Half of what people say, and or whatever. But you gotta fucking, so you give it a shot, and that just turned into fucking couple months of just bullshit. And it went from this Joey Riyadh Egyptian guy supposed to be a trillionaire, to Burl Walk, who's some fucking advertising genius, the inventor of infomercials. He's the first person to do infomercials, and he's like on the 10th floor. Burl's World, yeah. Christ, we had fucking Gargiulo working over there as an intern for this guy, you know what I mean? And it just and I would have to go up there and have meetings with this Burl, the Egyptian, and he would have all these other people, and he'd buy everybody lunch every day. Every time I would go up, he'd take us all down to this little restaurant and buy lunch. And then he would have everybody stand up and talk about why they're there. So I would have to stand up and explain why I'm here and what he can do for us and what we can do for whatever. And it just went on and on. But again, you got to follow up the lead. You're hoping it's going to work. I made him up a proposal. He wanted me to give him a proposal, like how much money do I think we need as CZW to take it to another level.
And he wanted like over the top.
I wrote a proposal for $5 million, and I thought it was high. I'm thinking this guy's never going to go for this. And I took it to him, and it's not easy coming up with figures and numbers.
Right, because I think Michael worked a lot with you.
We put the stuff down on paper, what we would like to do. That's what it is. It's a dream is what it is. You write your dream down on a piece of paper, and you say, here's how much we need to do it. And we go here to this guy, and I give him this thing for $5 million. He goes, it's too small. You're thinking too small. He said, you got to think bigger here. And I'm like, holy shit, think bigger. I said, so you want us to do more? I says, more money obviously would be bigger. I said, just remember, I told him, I said, we're not going to be the WW. You know what I mean? We're never going to be that. And as far as with the Egyptian and this dude, why not? This guy's supposed to be a trillionaire, this Egyptian. He's
Yeah, because wasn't all his money in gold or
he
whatever?
says Vince is small.
Yeah.
Vince is small. He's nothing. He's small. And I said, well, maybe he's small to you, but to me, he's not small. And in the wrestling business, he's the king in this wrestling, in this business, entertainment business. And they said, no, you need to come back for so there. I go back to the drawing board. Now we go back and we rework the numbers. Okay, we'll do this, and we'll do a tour here and there and all this. And we go back. I go back in and I say, $30 million. We're going for $30 million. Now they want to try to go after Vince, these guys. You know what I mean? $30 million is still ain't enough to go after Vince, but I was giving an effort.
Right.
I go back with $30 million. He goes, a little too high now. I'm going, oh, here we go. So back to the drawing board. We go back. And of course, I had to have the lunch and talk to everybody and give them my whole spiel again. And we go back, $15 million. He says, that's the number, $15 million. We can do this. This is what he told me. We're going to do this. It's going to take a little time. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing, but we're going to do this. Yep. He said, what do you think about buying that building over there in Philly? Instead of, I made an offer on the arena for $1 million. Made an offer for me, and they told me to make the offer for $1 million for the building. It ain't worth $1 million. Them fucking lawyers paid about $200,000 for the whole fucking block.
Right.
Back in, I don't know if it was the 80s. I remember researching it back then, you know what I mean? But these guys says, offer $1 million for the building. So I did. And they turned it down. I couldn't believe it, but they turned it down anyway.
Right.
I'm glad they did because the fucking guys never came through with a fucking dime. You know what I mean? The lawyers actually looked into, well, the one lawyer anyway, actually looked into this Burroughs world a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And he came back to me and told me to watch myself. He felt that he was a little concentric maybe. Right. So it took a long time to come to the reality. It got to the point I just said, I can't keep coming up here. When you're ready, call me. You know what I mean?
Right.
We'll do this. And then I got him telling me that, and I'm thinking, this guy is a little fucking strange. I think he's an old guy who made a lot of money over the years. Now his family is running this business, and he has his little corner of the world up there on the 10th floor doing his Burroughs World thing, and it's like a place for people to go meet each other and just
exchange ideas.
Yeah, exchange ideas, and it was. I mean, I met the people there who invented the Golf Channel, and I'm like, so what? There was some girl there that recorded the American anthem or some stuff. I mean, it was just a wider variety of different people. There was one guy there that worked for him, just like Eric did for two weeks. He was there for months and months. He was like some radio genius type of guy, and he had something to do with radio, but he wasn't making a dime. So Burroughs sucking everybody in, getting all these people, and they're making himself look like a big shot, but in reality, he's making all of us, I think, look like a bunch of jerks, because we were all there thinking he's going to put money into our ideas,
right?
And it wound up he never put a fucking dime in.
And wasn't Apter up there also?
Bill Apter went up and did the same thing Arjolo did. He was up there working for nothing, you know. I ran into the other guy too. Was it wrestling one? The big wrestling.com. What the hell's his name? Lives up in New York.
Mike Johnson.
What was the pro wrestling? What's his thing called?
Wasn't he? What was he? One wrestling or whatever.
It was before him, whatever it was before him.
Oh.
Al Isaacs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember Al Isaacs?
Yeah.
I'm up there doing my thing, sitting down at lunch, and I look over, and here's Al Isaacs, and he had somebody with him. They were pitching a wrestling cartoon to Burl, trying to get Burl to back that. And then Burl's like, oh, you're into wrestling stuff over here. Do you know John over here? And he goes, oh, yeah, anybody in the wrestling business knows who John is. And I'm like, so it was weird, just the different people you would meet up there, but we're all up there. This guy's talking, he's going to give us money and take our ideas, to another level, and just did nothing. It was just such a waste of time. And thanks again, Eric, for all your hours you put up in there. Jesus.
With the XPW thing, you had some guys, see the dollar signs. I think the first two that went were Matt and Josh. Because it was originally they wanted Trent and Johnny, correct? To do that, to kind of do like the gimmick?
I don't know. I think they may have been approached, but I don't think they were offered any kind of real money. I don't think.
But the main guy you lost was Payne. Mm-hmm. How did that?
It was all money. I don't know if anybody knows why he did it, but it was 100% money. They paid him $5,000 to jump boat.
Right.
He was in the process, and this is really fucked up. He was in the process of buying a house with his girl, and I actually got him his mortgage guy, and he was supposed to take care of him, all this, and he was buying a house, and then when they went to settlement, to sit down at the settlement table, somebody I know fucking screwed something up, and Payne needed $5,000 more to make settlement, and he had to do what he had to do. I mean, he could have came to me and says, "Yo." I'd rather he came to me and we could have worked the whole thing where he could have got his money from him, go do their shit for a while, and then tell them to fuck off. But he didn't. He tried to keep it behind my back. And then I think I found out about it new, and then Payne called me the night it was going to air on TV. And I said, dude, I already know it's fucking happening. Whatever. Click. But, I mean, he had to do what he had to do. I mean, if I was in his shoes and it's a matter of me getting this house or not getting this house, I mean, I probably would have had to do the same thing. Payne's a little bit sneaky. I don't think I would have did it that way. I think I would have probably confronted, if it was you, or if I was if the shoes were on the opposite foot, I probably would have told Payne, look, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
I got to do it, but it'll work out. We'll make it work later. But he was never, and when he came back, he never came back like the original Payne. It was pretty much downhill after that, from what I remember anyway.
All three of the guys eventually came back. You know what I mean? At that point, I know you were like, you'll never see him. But, I mean, you always give everybody a second chance,
Most of the time.
I mean, which one was the hardest pill to swallow, to bring back?
I don't like Josh Prohibition at all.
Right.
At all. I don't like his personality. I don't like I think he's disrespectful. He's another one of those overrated people. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the M-Dog was the fucking better of the two, and he was on his coattails, and I just never liked him. I really didn't. I think he was too big for his britches, maybe. So he would be the main one. I don't think I brought him back. I don't think I kept him around that long, did I?
He came back.
Did I throw him in best of the best because
he
was in
best
town?
Of the best.
Because I'll be honest, the only reason he got thrown in there is because he was in town.
Because I was even surprised. I'm like, that's the one guy I thought John would never brought back. And then he was on the show.
Yeah, he was in town. That's why it happened, I think, and that was it. And then he was gone.
But he was kind of the contact person for the XCG thing, correct? Did he get you, or he got Mondo, and then Mondo got you? And
no, Mondo's deal. I think Mondo made some kind of deal with them after me.
Because I know I got that.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
if that kid gave that guy my phone number. I mean, is that what happened? I don't even remember. I
think there was words that he wanted to get with you, and then Josh contacted me. I got the number from Josh, and I think
that what it was?
Yeah.
I don't remember. All I know is that guy's a fucking jerk off too. What the fuck was his name? Fucking scumbag.
I'll think of it in a few seconds. Rick Marr.
Rick Marr, yeah.
The backyard wrestling guy, because that's how they got involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Matt and Josh. XEG deal. You can hear the tapping. Yeah. Goods and bads of the XEG deal. That you got the national distribution.
Got the national distribution, but they never really fulfilled all their obligations. They were supposed to really advertise it and push it and get us out there. And I talked about that with them. I said, well, what are you going to do with it? I said, are you just going to fucking take it and put it on a shelf? Or are you going to, I said, when I watch TV, I fucking constantly would see backyard wrestling, backyard wrestling. I said, if you advertise it like that, that's going to put us on the fucking map. I says, or are you just going to put it on the shelf? No, we're going to get behind this. We're going to put money behind it. We're going to advertise it. I never seen a fucking commercial for one. He put it on the fucking shelves. That's all he did. So he put it on the shelves, and he didn't make the fucking $1 million he thought he was going to make. But you don't make $1 million if you don't spend fucking a couple $100,000. You know what I mean? And that's the reason for it. The reason why you ain't a fucking multi-millionaire and I'm not, because we don't have the kind of money to fucking advertise CZW the way it really needs to be. And that jerk off, he just lied. He said he was going to do everything and then just never did. And he never even fulfilled the whole obligation with all the DVDs. It took me months to get the last one back that that he was supposed to put out, never put out. He's just a scumbag. A typical fucking, they all want to get something for nothing, you know what I mean? And then if things don't go exactly as planned, then, they don't answer the fucking phone, that kind of shit.
Right, because, he made all his money basically off other people's footage for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think like a lot of that backyard wrestling. I don't think anybody
Made anything
got paid
off of
royal.
it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he paid pretty good, our
Right.
initial money to do
Right.
the thing. But it was supposed to turn into, he was guaranteeing after the first year somewhere like $465,000.
Right.
My opinion, if he would have advertised our shit on TV the way he fucking advertised backyard wrestling, there's no reason why we couldn't have fucking
Right.
grossed $465,000. I mean,
Right.
that's my opinion. I mean, because if you're just putting it in the store on the shelf, nobody knows what the fuck it is. You might look at the box, you might look at it
Right.
and go, the fuck is this, and put it back down, you know. But he did nothing. He just put it on the shelf, and it didn't work. The last time I think I spoke to him, or he didn't answer my calls, I left a message for him, and I believe I told him, I says, I'll see you walking down the street one day in California. That's the way I left it with him.
Yeah, I never heard of him surface again. We're at the 61st in Passyunk building. I think you're just at the point of being stressed out. Now Rockin' Rebel starts to have like some influence of putting the shows together, the order. How did that all come about? Was it just with the license where you're just like so much dealing with trying to get the building underway where you just didn't have time to focus
I think
on?
it's probably what it was, because we were in there working fucking like every night. Every day, sweeping. Just to cleaning that place was rough, you know. It's possible that's probably what it was.
I mean, one of the good things that came out of the Passyunk building was the formation of the High Five. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's which really led to the whole main angle for that year up to Cage of Death. You know what I mean? So there were some goods and bads in the Passyunk building.
Mm-hmm.
Tatanka, you know, who would ever thought he would be in CZDUB? But the XPW run came to an end. I mean, you're back in the arena in March. Did you think you'd be back that soon?
I'll be honest, I told the fucking lawyers that it ain't going to last. These guys are going to blow their wad. They're talking shit. They think that everybody thinks that I think everybody still thinks CZW makes a ton of fucking money. You
Right.
know, they think if you're in the arena, you're making fucking money. It's not the fucking case. There's so many people that went in there before us, before me, or even after me and tried it, and nobody keeps going back because you don't make no fucking money. And I told them, I says, they can't, $8,000 a month. The fuck, and they weren't, and they're from California. How are you going to fucking? You need to offset the money somehow. You need to get some other shit in there. You know what I mean? You got to have
Right.
some fucking memorabilia shows going on,
Yeah.
or bingo, or a fucking dance. You got to do something, and or boxing. At the time when I was going to do it, I had already spoke to a fucking big boxing promoter, Peltzer, which is like a
Right.
Golden Gloves guy,
Yeah.
who actually was going to come in and do boxing.
Right. Who later on came in and
Did boxing with fucking Roger and fucking Butchie's daughter, who fucking Butchie took my exact idea with the wrestling and the boxing, told his fucking daughter and Roger, and then fucking there we have it, and Roger's still in the fucking building. Yeah, so I got fucked twice. At least we're still in the, at least
Right.
CZW's still in the building, but they did exactly what I want to do. Except the back where it was going to be the wrestling gym, they put a fucking boxing gym. And that didn't work out either because them motherfuckers didn't pay the rent. Now they're the fuck out of there. And I told Roger that wouldn't fucking happen. Everything I ever told that motherfucker in that building was always fucking right. The shit always went sour. He had fucking the other jerk off, that fucking Gary fucking, what's his name? Fucking Pitbull Wolf. Him and Todd Gordon come in there. Oh, my wife's fucking making a settlement with her husband. She's going to get millions of dollars. We're going to fucking open up this fucking place. We're going to put a big gym next door. Blah, blah, blah,
Restaurant.
I said, Roger, it ain't happening. They're talking shit. I said, this woman ain't never going to get that kind of money. And if she does, she ain't going to dump it in this fucking building. But there he was, kissing her ass. Next thing you know, we're working around cheerleading going on and everything. You know what I mean? Well, guess what? Where's fucking Gary now? Where's the wife? Where's fucking Todd? But where's fucking CZW? Still paying half the fucking rent over there every fucking month. Fucking idiots.
I agree with you on all those points. On a side note, best of the best three. We come back. We do the trifecta setup for best of the best three in April. That's the first time you decide to work with Ring of Honor because they ran in the afternoon, and then CZW ran at night. Brett and AJ Styles. Oops, my bad. You know what I mean? what was that like? Now they're
We were doing best of the best.
Yeah, we
I
did
brought
best
AJ
of best.
Styles. Is that when I put the 2 Briscoes against AJ Styles, 2-on-1?
Yeah, like Jimmy Ray was in there, the Briscoe, and then one of the Briscoes got
But
hurt.
didn't I do 2 against
Yeah.
1? I made him work
Yeah.
both of them, right?
Yeah.
I think that kid worked hard. I think he worked. I think he did.
Yeah, he worked real
He did
hard,
what he's
yeah.
supposed to do.
But I mean, now it was almost like a changing of the guard where like Ring of Honor was dumping all that money in, you know what I mean, and then it was kind of like where they kind of like outshine, I would guess. You know what I mean? Like where they came in, okay, we're gonna do a blowaway afternoon show. You did the night show, where they kind of used the CZW name to help draw.
Right. To get and it fucking helped. It got some of our fans to go over.
Right.
Which I've done a couple different things with
Right.
them, and every fucking time we do, it always worked out for them and never worked out for us.
Right.
I only remember. Did we use anybody besides?
Maybe Jimmy Rave at the point.
Well, we had Ray first
Right.
anyway. So.
Yeah.
He was okay. He would have never stopped coming except for the fucking plane tickets went up to fucking like $400 out of fucking Atlanta. So I remember that's why we had to start cutting back on Jimmy because it was just too much fucking money.
And then then he became a regular. You know what I mean? Like, you spoke about it right when Ring of Honor started. They just took the top guys. So like, you were making guys, and then in the Midwest, like Ian was making guys, and it's just kind of like the talent rate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Rave was getting over at that point, and then.
And jerk off fucking paid everybody way too much money.
Guaranteed
I
more
hate to
dates.
say they paid too much because it's nice when the boys make money.
Right.
But what people got to understand is there's no fucking money to be made.
Right.
There's really not. I mean, these are wrestling shows, even CZW. It's a fucking platform for people to show their talent, get better, and fucking eventually make it to Vince if
Right.
they do, or just do what they love to do. And at the end of the night, make enough money to fucking put some gas in the car, maybe get a meal. You know what I mean? And that's the way wrestling used to be. Nobody expected to make a ton of fucking money.
Right.
But Feinstein comes in here and fucking pays these fuckers way too much money, and it changed the whole scope and ball game of how much people got paid on independent wrestling. Because once they did that to them, they wanted to get paid the same kind of money every fucking where they went.
Right.
And it doesn't work. It's fucking impossible. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was good for the boys, but
Yeah, I mean, it is good for the boys, but it just isn't there. It wasn't the wrestling shows that was paying them fucking boys. Feinstein was pulling the fucking money out of his pocket. Same way I started CZW. You got to do it. I just did it a different way. You know what I mean? I would love to pay all the guys fucking $500 a night. You know what I mean? I wish we could do that, or $300 a night, but it's impossible.
The best of the best that year, B-Boy went over mainly to put strength behind the whole high five angle. It was him and Sanjay in the finals. Looking back, do you think should have maybe pulled the trigger to put Sanjay over to get the fresh guy, or do you think it was better for the angle of, you know what I mean? Because everybody else in the clique had a belt, and the thought with that was the trophy.
Yeah. No, it worked for
the
it
angle.
was the angle. It's almost always about the angle. It almost always is. It's not about, even though sometimes it looks like when you said earlier, like, oh, is he your go-to guy,
right.
or he's your fucking, your guy or whatever. But it's never been. It's always more about the angle. It's not who's winning or losing.
Right.
With me, anyway, it's always
right.
been about an angle, And again, all the angles didn't fucking work because I ain't a genius.
Right.
But that's what it's always about. That it's really not the individual. I never sat down and said, "Oh, I'm gonna get him over." You know what I mean?
Right,
You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna put a belt on him. You know what I mean? He deserves a belt. He's a great worker.
Right.
It's not. I never really sat down and thought that.
At that point, I think you realized maybe Rock and Rebel wasn't the guy to put in charge, because I remember it was either right after that. I had to come to your house. It was me, Gargulo, and Rock and Rebel at your house for lunch to okay, where are we going with?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like kind of like the
I remember
storyline
that.
meeting. I was like, I'm going to Zandig's house. You're what? Yeah.
I think. I guess where you're going with Rebel. Rebel's one. He's another one of them fucking dudes. He's too much about himself.
Right.
Like the all about me we talked about earlier.
Right.
He's too much worried about getting himself over, and you can't be part of a booking team, or you can't book shows when you're too worried about fucking getting your match or what's your thing over. You got to worry about getting the whole show over. You know what I mean? And that's where his problem lied. You know what I mean? He's
because the appeasement that we did then, he wanted to do the angle with you. Remember? Me and John need to be the top angle. Me and John need to be the top angle. And I was like, how about this idea? At the time, Jeff Rocker was going to start promoting shows in Delaware. Remember? And he was going to bring in the Mid-South guys.
This is one because we weren't using him because he sucked. He decided to start his own thing. He's also the one that sent they handed the tape off to a councilman in Delaware, which got fucking hardcore wrestling shut down in Dover.
All wrestling in Dover,
pretty much all. Yeah, you can't hit anybody with anything more than a body part.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that handed that tape off, which did him no good. He fucked
He
wrestling
fucked
completely.
himself. Yeah.
And he still sucks. So.
I don't think he wrestles anymore.
No, he never should have fucking wrestled. Fucking SpongeBob. I know his fucking old lady lives right up here in National Park, in our territory now. Another story. Go ahead.
So the idea was, I originally pitched the invasion angle. I know you weren't sold on it because of past history with dealing with Ian and his guys.
Don't like him.
Right. What convinced you to finally say, you know what I mean?
Because it's not what I like. It's never been what I like.
Right.
It's what I think will sell and what I think the fans will like. You know, what works, you know, or like the angle, the whole thing, like I said. But it's about what'll work, all right? Swallow my pride. I don't like this motherfucker, but got to do what I got to do. I mean, I brought him in when we first fucking started. I said no glass, no this. I was nervous as hell when I first started CZDUB. Even though we were crazy dudes, I was very concerned with fans getting hurt. Because in that original building, you were there. It was tight quarters.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker pulls out a fucking Jack Daniels bottle and fucking smashes it over my head and fucking glasses all over. And I'm like, this motherfucker. I remember looking over at Atticus, was at the fucking bell. I said, give me the bell. He's like, what? I said, give me the fucking bell. He didn't ring the bell. I don't know if you remember. And I said, give me the fucking bell. He, oh. And he throws me the bell. So I got up with the fucking bell and I was going to fucking nail the motherfucker. And then I got up and I looked around at the fans and I says, no, this ain't going to fuck. I got, you know what I mean? It's a business. I'll take care of it in the back type of thing. And then did whatever, and I fucking told him, I said, give me the fucking DDT, you know what I mean? Get the fuck over with. I was fucking so fucking pissed. This fucking jerk off. And then he runs his mouth, and he's acting like he's some kind of something special. He's a fucking piece of shit. Scared of fucking heights as a motherfucker. There should have been a fucking, I wish you guys were up on top of that cage in fucking Delaware. We're going to do the big fucking mother effing bomb off the top through a fucking table. He could barely climb up to the top of the motherfucker. And then when he gets his fat gut up on there, he's going, John, please, I can't do this. Please, I can't do this. I'm like, dude, you can't do what? I can't take your move. Just push me off. I'm like, oh my fucking God, this fucking pussy is scared. He was ready to fucking cry. Mr. fucking hardcore. And fucking lie and say you didn't fucking say that, you motherfucker, because I don't need to fucking lie. You fucking pussy. Just throw me off. Just throw me off. You fucking puss. I should have fucking threw you right over the fucking cage into the fucking street. That's what I should have fucking did. Unfucking believable. Anyway.
There goes my question for the respect match.
Yeah.
We do the angle, and at that time we basically kayfabed everybody except for the high five guys, because that was the whole. We were going to use it as like they brought in the hardcore guys to try and take over, to do their work for them. Did you think that we would get such a reaction from the crowd? I mean, that night they all but rioted. You know what I mean? They're throwing chairs, hitting Frank Talon in the head.
I remember I think internet talk and fans saying, like, tell fucking Vince McMahon this is the way a fucking angle's supposed to happen.
Right.
It was kept top secret. Nobody knew. It was a huge surprise. I don't even think the boys, you know how I've always been with the boys, I always like to do some surprises to surprise the boys in the back just as much as the fans. And that one was a fucking surprise for fucking everybody. Yeah. So, I mean, the way that went down, it was fucking perfect. It was textbook. It worked really well.
Yeah.
I believe I got hit with the fucking top of the fucking chair.
That's what I was going to ask you
the other
about.
part of the fucking chair, Mr. Bitch, another time I worked, the motherfucker was whining, saying I hit his fingers when we were doing a fucking chair spot. Fucking whining about that. This motherfucker comes in and nails me with, but he kills everybody with the wrong part of the. There's a way to hit somebody with a chair, motherfucker.
Because my question was, What are your thoughts looking back at it, other than the chair shot?
Yeah, other than the chair shot. Well, after that fucking shot, it took me a minute laying there fucking I got a stinger to boot. I was fucking numb for a minute. Was it one or two? It might have been. Was it one or two?
Two, I
Two
think.
shots, yeah.
But it was the first one that.
Yeah, it got me, and then I'd take a fucking another one to boot. But yeah, I did something with I had the ex in there, right? I had the old lady in there, and he was going to hit her or something first, or something.
Yeah, we had her zip tied to the ropes. You know what I mean? The whole thing was, she was there. You went to save her, and then you got zip tied. Got zip tied.
I don't know. I'm gonna, instead of the whole angle, I'm just going to stick with this motherfucker for a second.
Okay. All
show and no fucking go. That's what I get from this dude. He wants to beat people over the head with chairs. He wants to do shit like that, you know. But he's just, it's all he is. He can cut his fucking head. Other than that, I mean, he thinks he's some hardcore fucking legend, and I don't know. I think he's dangerous. He tells people I'm dangerous. He tells people, oh, you're going up there with Zandig, be careful with that motherfucker. He's dangerous. Fuck you, dude. You're dangerous. I see him fucking constantly hurting people, fucking, you know, the shit that he does. And I'm not going to knock some of the people that come out of where he is down in that territory, but whoever's coming out of there, as good as they are, it ain't fucking because of him. You know what I mean? A lot of his boys fucking hate him. You know what I mean? He don't fucking pay him half the time, I hear. I don't know. I've never had that issue with him with money, but I hear a lot of his boys that, you know, so-called boys fucking bitch and complain to me about him. You know what I mean? But but at the same time, there's people out there that fucking love this dude. You know what I'm saying? So you got to bring the dude in, and you give him to the fans, and you do what you can do with him. But, you know, just you gotta work around it. And it's a process of elimination. You know, you use him to the best advantage that you can. Same thing with the other guys with the necros, or I call some of them hack and slashers. These guys, all they do is just get hit with stuff and cut their head, cut their head. You know, they got a few of them that work there too. But that night, they all came in and did a great fucking job. It was good. It was over. It was huge. Everybody believed it. It looked like fucking people were dying and fucking what's going to happen. You know what I mean? They're taking over. Fucking, it was good. So thanks for that.
Do you think that angle, what I know you and I discussed, the original plan was it just runs the summer. You know what I mean? Do you think it would have had legs to go to Cage of Death and then the high five go from there, looking back on it? Or do you think, you know what I mean, just dealing business-wise, 3 months was enough for you?
I think we thought of taking it to the limit. Like, will that flow all the way until
that far?
Yeah, and I think there was talk about it, and I don't think it would have. I think there's the leader of the pack is just, you know, he's got his own ego and his own agenda or whatever, and it just. I don't think it would have. I don't know if I could have dealt with him that long.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean.
It's you know, every now and then, you know what I mean? You bring him in, give the fans what they want, you know what I mean? But I don't think it would work all the time. And it's funny, this fucking kid I'm talking about is, you know, he comes in to the arena, hey, John, how you doing? You know, we're like we're best buddies. And then next thing I know, he's doing some fucking interview, shooting on me in a fucking ring, talking fucking shit. 99% of the time, it's a bunch of lying fucking bullshit, you know what I mean? And then to say I'm dangerous and you watch the fucking shit that he does, you know what I mean? I just don't like the dude. Most everybody else I like him down there. Almost.
What are your, you know what I mean, part of that whole angle, Axel returned for one show, and then like Bailey.
In Jersey or in Philly?
He returned and dealt when we did the Extreme 8 gimmick, kind of where they had to make their way into the Tournament of Death.
Yeah.
You had Bailey and Nate Webb, who like later became like regulars. What were your initial thoughts of like J.C. Bailey and Nate Webb? Because you and Webb opened up that Tournament of Death too with the Sheets of Glass.
We had a pretty cool little thing.
Real good match.
Yeah, that was good. I like them both. Webb had his thing where he wanted to be hardcore. He didn't want to be hardcore. Almost a Toby Klein thing.
Right.
He did some silly shit, but sometimes silly shit's funny. The guitar thing was cool. Remember he did that?
Yeah.
And the whole audience was going with, hey, it worked. Go with it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to run around with a guitar, but yeah. And then Bailey, on the other hand, is a hardcore guy and go out there and die for you and do whatever. Sometimes he wasn't all there, you know what I mean? He's had his demons going on, so I didn't like that. You know, I hate that with the wrestle. I'd rather do whatever you want to do, just don't do it when you're here. You know what I mean? But I thought that Bailey was an asset on the hardcore end.
Right.
The other one, not so much, but the charisma was there. He was likable. He was a likable guy. And even though we did have a good match, it was a good match.
Right.
I don't remember all of it, but it was sheets of glass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a decent match.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a good match with him in California too. I did a match. I don't think that's ever been seen anywhere.
Right.
But I did a match after we did the backyard wrestling game thing.
Right.
We did a show. Well, kitties are home. Oh, kitties aren't home.
Any minute.
You did the Taipei match. You and Ian had like a series of basically like 2 or 3 matches, whatever it was. You guys did the Taipei match at Deja Vu 2. What were your thoughts on finally working on one? Because I think that was the first time you guys worked one-on-one.
I'm not sure, but I think that's when he was bitching and I hurt his hand when we were swinging the chairs. That might be when that happened. I mean, who knows if I hit it? You're swinging the chair, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like this. I mean, who the fuck knows? I don't know. But I think that's what he was. I think that's what he was bitching about. There was a lot. I think it was a lot of blood. I mean, I'll be honest. That's really all I can remember. That there was a lot of blood in that match.
Tournament of Death 2. So the main match, you know what I mean, that everybody looks back on that tournament is you and Mon.
Bumps ever. Yes.
I say it's the biggest ever.
I don't know if it's the biggest. It's definitely one of the biggest.
I mean, at least in CZDUB history, I think it's.
Yeah, it was good.
It was realistically, what do you think? 28 feet?
I don't know, Mike, but it was probably 7 feet higher for Mondo.
Right.
Looking down from up here, so yeah, it was a long way down.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you going, the tables are too close.
Yes, and Mondo said, "That's real reassuring."
I got it too.
A little bit of meltage.
Yeah, a little bit.
What was your thought going off?
I'm scared of heights.
Right.
Although I don't bitch out like some people do. So I was nervous the whole time I was up there, you know. And also, whenever you do a big bump like that, or whenever I ask anybody to do a big bump like that, I usually try to set it up before, like a show starts. It could be that day, a day before, or whatever, and kind of get an idea, looking from the top down, where you want to position stuff. I mean, it's a bump, it's a stunt, you know what I mean? But we want it to be safe, and we didn't get a chance to put them there. And then I think once they were there, they were set up before the show started, and it was like looking up and down, like, yeah, maybe, yeah, it's all right, you know.
Right.
And it wasn't. And when we jumped, when you see the bump, we skim off the top table, and a couple of them fall down, and then we hit the bottom one, and it was just like it was almost like just going right down and hitting the asphalt. I mean, that's kind of what it felt like. And I remember anytime we take bumps, anybody I'm with the mother effing bomb or whatever it is, the first thing I do is lean over and say, "You all right, brother?" And I said, "You all right, brother?" And Mondo was like, "I don't think so." he was hurting. It was a big bump. I mean, I was too, but at the same, I mean, neither one of us were hurt real bad, you know what I mean? But it was a bump, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I remember just saying, I said, just lay there, relax and enjoy it, because the place was just erupted. The whole place was going nuts. So it was just like, take a breather, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime I jump off of anything and I get up and walk away from it, because I'm telling you, I'm scared of heights. And every time I'm up on something, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And then, boom, I do it. And then I'm just like, it's such a relief, you know what I mean? I can get up and walk away from it, you know. Mondo, obviously, I mean, he got up and walked away and then had to go on to the final match with Ian. That it was almost, that bump was almost like doing Cage of Death first. You know what I mean? How do you top that? You know? I mean, even with me and Mondo, because it was 2 out of 3 log cabins, and we had to go back in the ring still because there was still one more cabin, and me and Mondo had to go into a little spot, and then he outsmarted me, and boom, and you know, and I wound up taking the last one. But even just doing that was like, we both should have been dead. You know what I mean? We should have been dead. And then to follow it up with Ian and him,
And
it was short, sweet, you know what I mean?
Right.
And Mondo really didn't even want to go out there. I mean, he was
Right.
taped up pretty good. I think he had blood
Yeah,
pumping
he
out
had
of like 2
pumping
different
out,
places.
yeah.
It was a mess. But all in all, I mean, it was good. You know, it was really good. I mean, I'm proud of that bump. I mean, you know, another bump, which I think is a big bump, we talked about a little bit earlier with Homeless Jimmy when he threw up at the move. That was my idea for Mondo to do that move over there with Jimmy. It was Mondo's move. And I'm not taking no credit. They did it, and it was great. But I think that was a huge, like one of the huge bumps of all time. I mean, you know, to let somebody got you up here and then, you know what I mean, flipping you, and it was crazy. I like that bump. That wasn't on that. It wasn't on that same tournament, wasn't it?
No, that was
like
the year before. Right.
Yeah. So I think in my head, that bump that they did had to be topped.
Right.
And that's kind of, I think, why I went to that roof, because then, you know, there was the only way to top it. You're on top of the truck, you know what I mean? So we went the next level. So.
And knowing, like, you know what I mean, that there was going to be Ian and Mondo in the finals, do you think, like, a little of your own ego was like, no matter what you do with him in the match, my match will outshine it?
You know, I don't think so. I
not
don't think it crossed my mind at all, I'll be honest, because I don't do that. I really don't want to do it. I was probably more concerned, like, damn, but they ain't going to be able to top it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Ian ain't going to go up there and jump off the fucking roof. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So no, definitely not. I did not. I don't try to go out and outdo anybody or anything like that. If anything, I can remember thinking toning it down at times. But at Tournament of Death, what I do remember, I'm pretty sure because of Mondo and that big bump, that was what I was trying to outdo. Not anybody after me.
Right.
That bump, and not to outdo Mondo. Mondo was right there with me, or outdo the Homeless Jimmy, but for the show to give them something bigger. You know what I mean? And that's one of the problems with CZW. We always give them something bigger, and it gets to the point, what do we give them now? It's very difficult to top everything, you know? It almost, and we're always in the same market. That's another problem. If we took the show on the road and we took it to other states, it would be great because it would be easier for us, you know what I mean? These people have never seen it live, you know, no matter what we gave them. It could be half of what we normally do and they would love it, but then we get back to the finances where if one of these investors ever came up with the money they were supposed to, we would have took the show on the road. Maybe someday, you know, it'll go on the road. I know something just happened, with
last week.
Yeah, with the Dragons or whatever, something down there. I mean, you know, it's kind of a start. I mean, I don't know how it was, but I mean, you got a lot of guys from down there, so it made it easy, you know what I mean? So now you bring a handful from here and a handful from there and throw a few in, and it works. But it's still not that full CZW show, you know what I mean, on the road. You got Pancoast there doing the production, you got Burns there filming, you know what I mean? You got all your guys, your refs, your whatever.
Right.
But that would be the ideal thing. It's as far as topping things go.
Topping. Did you know going into that event that would be Mondo's last? No,
and I got a feeling that bump, and Mondo said something to me. I can't quote on anything people said because it's been so long and my memory's not great, but I think he said to me that he could never top that.
Right.
Why bother, you know what I mean? And part of me feels the same way. It was just the fact that I'm owner of CZW. I can't just stop and give it up.
Right.
But if a lot of guys on the indie level, if you're not going to make events or to another country and you're going to make huge money, why keep doing it? You know what I mean? It seems like our guys, 4 or 5 years, Lobos, Wife Beaters, Mondos, these guys that kill themselves here, and they give it their all. And they just realize they're not going anywhere else. They're not going to make a ton of money or just killing themselves. So they give it up. So they have their fun, you know, it's hurrah, you know, they get on tape, some TV, you know, other countries, and then they end it. So I don't blame Mondo for it. That's a hell of a way to go out, I'll tell you that.
Right, yeah. Going into the next month at the arena, you do the 4 hardcore guys against each other before you end up doing the whole respect thing. What was your psychology for that match? You know what I mean? Because you did, I think it was Bailey and Necro and Toby and Ian all versus each other. Some way it was the 4 guys basically.
It was to his own guys. It was
you made them fight amongst each other before you did the respect match.
The respect match was between me and Ian.
You and Ian, the exploding cage.
Lost all respect after that. Well, I've never had much anyway.
Right. I mean, do
I'm
you
trying
think?
to think what the reasoning was. Was it to what maybe
I
at
think
the
it was
time
more
to
of like
wear
a
their-
mind games.
to wear their guys down and like
Right,
make
yeah.
them face each other, type
Right.
of thing. I think that's where I was going with it back then. That's what I would think.
Do you think maybe in hindsight, like if we would have pushed that back a month, it probably would have been easier after you showed the respect? Now you got my respect. Now try and get maybe the respect of the fans.
So that could have. It's a whole
Right.
other way of looking at it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like retrospect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But woulda, coulda, shoulda type of thing. But
The whole angle with the respect match was them the high five, finally realizing like who they paid. You know what I mean? They couldn't get the job done because then you went up on the respect match. Right? You won that match with the mother effing bomb.
oh, there was no mother effing bomb.
Or
Just push me off.
the-
Just push me off. Just push me off, please. Bitch.
were you fine with the angle ending at that point, going into back to like your homegrown guys? You know what I mean?
Is that where it would end with Ian and them
Right,
guys at that point?
yeah.
I'll be probably. I don't know if that was the intentions to end it at that point, but what he did up on top of that platform, it had to be ended at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
So like the planning actually worked out
yeah, it worked out for the better at that point.
because you would just
He needed to go at that point.
Right.
I mean, and I know we wound up having him back again after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
at some
whatever-
points.
it's not nothing
Right.
like it was, but
onesie twosies here.
yeah.
That September, State Athletic Commission representative says, "John, you can do whatever you want in the arena." You know what I mean? Because we're doing all these big houses in Delaware, so this representative, you know what I mean, led us to believe like you can do anything. The top official's fine with it. So we promote that for like 3-4 weeks for the Redefine show. The whole purpose behind Redefine was we were taking the Ironman title and making it. Remember, we were going to make it more of a wrestling belt. But the athletic commission led us to believe like you can do anything, you can do anything, you can do whatever hardcore you want. And then the week of that show, you can't do anything.
Mommy.
So we ended up doing the hanging with the hooks.
Yeah. Fish hooks.
I stand behind that. I think it was great. I think it was, in my opinion, I think it was one of the, I mean, like we were backed into a corner where we were told we could do anything, promoted that way, and I think we delivered.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The way a lot of people looked at it, the thing was we did that already before.
Right, we did
where
it for
Lobo was coercing me into signing the contract, but it was in a remote location.
for the Cage of Death 4 promos.
Right, they beat the heck out of me, and it was all bad. Like it was good there, and the feedback seemed to be good. Like the internet people, when they saw that, even though it was only on the tape, they didn't get to see it live.
Right.
They say, "Oh man, you got to see this. It was sick." It seemed like they liked it. But to actually give it to them in their face live, and they were actually sticking the hooks in me, like letting the people see it. And I remember being there. I think I was all bloody and
a mess.
And I remember looking at the fans, and when it first started going down, there was cheering going on and excitement, and people were clapping like yeah. And I remember watching. But the longer it went on, another hook, and then the hanging, I'm watching, it went from cheers to happy, smiling to like going crazy. So all of a sudden, I got people crying, they were silent, there was people throwing up, and I'm like, oh my God, And I still, it was like, I wanted it to be shocking. I wanted it to look like they were just killing me, and they really were. I mean, that's what they did. I mean, they beat the heck out of me. And
right.
It was, that part, what was supposed to happen did, and I told them, do not let me up until everybody was out of the building. I wanted everybody out of the building. So it got to the point, my eyes were just shut, and whatever was going on, and then they slowly got me down. I remember still with the eyes closed on the ground. I even opened my eyes, playing dead. I'm like, are they gone? Everybody gone? And they're like, yeah, everybody's gone. And then when I opened my eyes and I looked up, the arena was empty. And I thought it was awesome, because it went from the excitement to the, oh my God, and people were believing like, oh, what, they killed him, or this type of thing, and I thought it was really good. Until 114 people called the athletic commission and complained about it and said, this is not wrestling, it's disgusting. Well, to use people, it's not wrestling. It was the entertainment business and it's an angle is what it was.
Right.
It was a build-up which led to
The cage of
cage
death.
suspended. They suspended me over the ring, and then I suspended the cage. So
Right.
it all came together at that point.
Look at all this.
Hindsight, would you do it again?
Probably not. Not that I couldn't take it. Would
Right.
I let but as far as the live audience goes, I think it was too much for them. I think it was overwhelming. And that's the only thing that we've ever done that seemed to got that kind of attention, you know?
Right.
I think we did it very well. You know, maybe we shouldn't have did it as much or made it as extreme as what it was. Maybe somebody should have came out and maybe stopped halfway through it, and then I stood up and said, we'll get you next month or something, and maybe
Right.
that would have helped. You know, but for me to just hang there like a piece of meat and it's exactly what I wanted to do. It's
Right.
exactly what I wanted, and it seemed like it was the right thing to do. But looking back, if I did it again, I would probably stop it and stand on my own 2 feet and let the people know, hey, I'm not dead. I mean, it was
Right.
over the top. It just a lot of people couldn't take it. I mean, dude, you're throwing up and crying, and you know, it was crazy.
I mean, even inside, some of the people were upset. You know what I mean? Like, even internally, I think some people were like, that was way too far. You know what I mean? Like
far,
part of the company.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you know the thing about this, people do it all the time. People go see them shows. That's like a
Right.
fetish. That's
Yeah,
a
it's,
fetish thing. It's Wax does it. That's Wax.
Jim Rose.
You know,
circus. Yeah.
Wax is a group of people. Like there's DVDs that's what they do. Like that's how Wax got his name. But it's
Right.
actually these people who do these hangings and
Right.
things like
The
that.
suspensions. One of the first times you had Span, later, just after that, you go to Italy. How did the whole Italy tour come about?
How did it come about? How did they find us?
Yeah.
I think they found us because of fans talking, on the
Right.
internet. That was how they found us and made contact. And then they, what did they do first? What did I send Mondo over first the first time?
He might have.
I think I sent.
Yeah, Mondo and maybe
I
somebody
think
else.
there wasn't a show. I think I sent Mondo over for like an autograph, then like a seminar, like a little
Right.
training session or something like that. Another Mondo problem here. When he went over there for that, Italy's got a lot of them little cars.
Uh-huh.
And they were in the back of a little car, and I don't know if the car broke down or they pulled over the side of the road or something. Well, a tractor trailer plowed right in the back of the car when he was over there, smashed the car like an accordion. I know his VCR or DVD or player, whatever it was in the
Right.
back, I remember was squashed like just from the back
Crunch.
end. And he got some back damage from that when he was over there. I mean, he was lucky that he even lived. I mean, they could have got killed over
Right.
there. And then he had to go on and do do like the seminar thing. And then after that, and then they started talking. They wanted to do a show. Obviously, it's just like everybody. They want to make money off of
Right.
CZDUB. So, I think did I go over next and went over and met some sponsors and things? Maybe
Yeah,
that might have
I
been
think.
What it was. They took me over, going around shaking hands, meeting sponsors, out to dinner and stuff like that. And I guess we got enough sponsors together, and they decided to do a show, and we went over. At one point, sent Bret Hart over. We didn't do a CZW show. That's right. There was a show like
Right.
at a
And didn't Trenton Ruckus go over?
Trenton Ruckus, and they asked us to make contact for him and get Bret Hart. So
Right.
we made the contact, and we got Bret and sent him over. So he was their, I guess, big autograph signing star. And then Trent and Ruckus put on like a great 5-star match. I remember Bret was like, "Oh my gosh," he says, "Do all you guys from CZW work like this? Is this where
Right.
you work?" And they were like, "Yeah, man, it's like this all the time. It's what we do." And he was like, it was great. He was like, like the best thing he ever seen. He was so impressed with him. And that was for them guys, you know what I mean?
That's
for
huge,
Bret
yeah.
Hart, yeah, that's huge. And so I think that was that. And then after that, then I went on to the show.
Okay.
And we wound up doing we did a couple shows over there.
2. Right.
The first show we did over there, got down, me and Billy worked. They don't have no tables over there. I had to build table. It was crazy, these weak things, but I had to try to build tables. The ladders are horrible. You can't buy regular ladders over there. But me and Billy got down to a match, and there was one more match after us. I think it was like a semi-main, and it was, I think we had ladder. I think we might have had a ladder. Yeah, we had a ladder in there, and there was thumbtacks or something like that. And we told them we were going to do some hardcore, but they didn't want us to go like over the top. And this was all new to this country. There
Right.
wasn't even no wrestling going on. Vince wasn't even over there doing shit at this time.
Right.
And we're in a building, and there's probably a couple thousand people there, There could have been more, but, for the first time over there, I thought, hey, it's pretty good. We got sponsors, we got a couple thousand people. And but we did the match, and I think Logan was over there with us refereeing.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through the match, Logan's going, John, stop. You got to shut it down. They're going to shut us down. Stop. They said, stop the match. We're going to shut us down. I said, what? They're calling the cops. John, you got to shut it down. Stop the match. Go home. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're pissed, dude. They're pissed. The dude's freaking out. Dude was in the back freaking out.
Right.
He was like, I think it was his promoter license is who they were using. He was losing his mind, and I told Billy, I said, well, we got to take it home. But we didn't just stop. You know what I mean? We went into whatever, and we did a finish and all, and it was over, and it was done. I went in the back, and, dude, they were losing their mind on me. I thought it was done. I thought we were going to get arrested, never be back in Italy again. It got to the point I said, look, they said that there was people leaving there. Over there, some people were leaving like the hanging. You know what I mean? There was kids crying, moms were crying, the whole thing. I didn't see all that going on there, but it was. And well, I went out and broke the rules of wrestling, just like we do on these damn videos sometimes. And I had to go back. I said, look, let me go out to the audience and show them I'm okay. Because, I mean, Billy had my face down in the thumbtacks and stomping me. So I had tacks in my face, and I was dead. And then we did the move off the top rope through the ladder and thumbtacks. And, like, they're thinking that we're dead. You know what I mean? So I went back out the ring. I said, let me go out and explain to the people that this is entertainment. This is what we do. Nobody's dead. And just let us do what we do. You know what I mean? And I went out to the ring. I'm hitting the ropes, friggin' throwing up my feet, taking bumps. I'm going, I'm fine. Look, see, I'm good. Everything's okay. I said, and why I'm saying it, there's an interpreter. Because they're Italians, you know what I mean? Most of them don't speak English. So there was an interpreter speaking, and they actually went for it, and they let us continue the match. And then we went on to the last match, and we did it, and we got out of there. Needless to say, we lost that promoter. I don't think we ever did. We didn't work with that promoter again. Then they called us back over and went and do another show.
Right.
And that was a rough one. We went over there, and they're driving. It seemed like we're in the country in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, oh my God, where are we going? How are people even going to get to this place? Then we show up, and it's these warehouses. Kind of reminds you, like the old Westville where the school was in Westville.
Right. And
they're just warehouses. I'm going, oh my God, what is this? Then we go in. They open the door, and we go inside. It was like a movie place where they make movies. Beautiful ballroom type atmosphere. Big Titantrons all over the place, and the lighting was like crazy. I was like, holy shit. I mean, I thought we're like in a big metal shed, you know what I mean? Right. And now here it is, this big beautiful building inside. And they had a bunch of them. There was something different going on in all of them. That's when we had Sabu over there that time. So we wound up doing the show, and I told them before the show I wanted to be paid like half of whatever they owed us before the show started, and then the other half after. And it was like we were being avoided, but you don't really think about that because you're worried about the show, putting everything together. And they, after it was done, they didn't have the money for us. I'm like, what the freak? Oh, I'll meet you back at the hotel type of thing. We go back to the hotel. Nobody brings no money back to the hotel, and everybody's sitting around, and I try to act calm. I like to keep this to myself until it's time not to. Right. And the girl, our public relations girl over there, she shows up and says, there's no money. The guy's broken. He lost his ass. He lost money. We weren't the only thing going on there. This guy brought all kinds of people, and he bred. So I think Van Damme might have been there, not Jean-Claude Van Damme. Right. And Lou Ferrigno, maybe. He was having seminars going on. Like in all those different buildings, there was different things going on. And it was like a whole weekend of these events. Well, the guy lost his ass. And he said, she's saying he ain't got no money to pay us. I said, well, you better get him here because he's going to pay us. So I'm in my hotel room, which is supposedly a 4-star hotel, and the boys are down the street at the 3-star in this little town in Italy. And I go in this room, like a conference room, and the guy comes in, he's standing there, and he's not talking. He's got a cocky look on his face, and the girls tell me he don't have the money, he can't pay you. This is it. What are you talking about? I says, we're not leaving without getting paid. I says, I don't care what he's got to do. So he don't have the money. I said, you know what? Tell the rest of the boys this. So I walked out the thing, and I went down. Some of the boys were at a cafe. I yelled. I said, yo, go get the guys. I said, I want everybody back here. I said, we got a problem with money in this place. Man, when they came in, we walked down the hallway. It was like a long corridor to get to the conference room. It was like, boom, 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 boom. Sound like the Marines was coming, you know what I mean? And we go in, pushed the door up, got inside the door. I went back, pushed the door shut, I locked the door. Now I go over to this guy. He's some kind of 5th degree black belt, supposed to be. And I go over and I said, Now tell them that you're not paying them. So now the girl's obviously interpreting for him. He's just like showing no remorse. Like he's like acting like it's no big deal. He ain't going to pay. And it got at one point, wife beater came up and I think he spit on him. And I told him, yo, back off. Another place, I think hatred came up and he said, I'll take your effing Italian suit or something. He's like ready to rip the guy's suit off, you know. And Sanjay's in the background yelling. He says, boss, look at him. Look at him. He don't even care. And the girl was all crying and upset. She was like really upset over it. And this dude's like just sitting there with this cocky look. And the guys were getting real nasty. And he just wants to, I said, you need to say something. I said, you need to apologize. You need to say something. You need to get us money. I said, call your mom, call your dad. I don't care. You need to get us paid. And this guy's, he's still sitting there there. Look, I said, dude, I'm telling you, you better friggin' say something. He didn't say nothing. I said, pow, and I smacked him across the mouth. When I smacked him, he did one of these twists, and he did a standoff and a karate move. I said, you son of a bitch. And pow, I hit him a second time, and he kind of like buckled over a little bit, you know what I mean? And he like kind of cowered a little bit and backed down. If I didn't have did that day, he's liable to have been beat up by all the boys. You know what I mean? They were like ready to kill him. So I had to shut the dude down, and I did what I had to do. And shut him down. And the girl says, John, I will get you paid. I'll get you paid. Well, the girl wound up getting us whatever she could before she left.
Right.
And then she wired money back home. It all didn't come. I forget there was a problem. Something. Sabu had some issues with a flight
or something.
Yeah, like he didn't get there. He had to pay for another flight. I don't know if he ever got his money because that went to him, not through us. But we never got everything, but it was close to it. And so she did square up. She like wired the money like a day or two after we got home. But needless to say, that was the end of going over to Italy. You know what I mean? With all that happened. I mean, it was cool because we were building up a wrestling. They were on TV. They had us on TV over there and everything. Right. And it was pretty cool. We thought we were building something up. Vince wasn't really there. And then I don't know if you remember, but right after that, next thing you know, Vince shows up, and he's going to start doing pay-per-views in Italy. Right. Matter of fact, at the time, we were supposed to do pay-per-views in Italy, and when he came in, he told the pay-per-view people, if they do stuff with us, he ain't going to do business with them. Right. So basically, that was the end of our pay-per-view deal there too. So everything went bad in Italy, and Vince, I think, still doing live shows over there, ain't he? Or in Italy? Yeah, he was anyway.
And then. Who else was doing them? Rikishi did a bunch of shit.
Rikishi got with them, same kind of deal, you know. They went with him, and he was bringing them talent or whatever. The only thing, I don't know how they get paid or who does what. It's probably not the same guy with the money, obviously, that we dealt with. Right. If he was as broke as what they said.
Night of Infamy 2, Wife Beater returns to set up the, the heel and the face teams for Cage of Death 5. Why New Jack for Cage of Death 5?
Oh.
it was just like out of left field, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we just needed something, add a little spice, a little something extra, you know what I mean? I mean, he's got a great entrance.
Right, oh yeah.
Great entrance. It's just after that, it's just all downhill. He's another one who talks a lot of shit. And he fucking winds his balls off, too. Matter of fact, I think he fucking bitched to you at one point that I was stiffing him or I used real staples or something. Right, yeah. We were in the back, and he put out a staple gun the first time he was there. And he goes, yeah, I got the staple gun, but I come out and I put 5 staples in there, and I shoot them up in the air so people can see them. He said, but then it's empty, so then when I shoot you, you know there ain't really none in there. I said, yo, dude, we're the inventor of staple gun. I said, leave the staples in. We do staples. Well, what do you mean you do staples? What do you mean? Mr. How many 10 justifiable homicides or whatever? Right. What do you mean staples? You know what I mean? And you have a match with the dude, and he's supposed to be so tough, this big badass mother F. And you get out there, and then he's crying after the match. You stiffed him, you hit him too hard, or I hit him too hard. It's just like another Ian. All these guys that think they're like up here, you know what I mean? Something's a little heavy, you're a little stiff on them, you know what I mean? They're going to wind their balls off. Get the frig out of the business, you know what I mean? But in hindsight, it was the look, the name, you know what I mean? To add the little something to it, that's what it was all about. It just... He had a hell of a splash, too, over the years. I mean, he used to jump off of anything.
He had no fear of heights.
Although when he jumped off the cage onto me, it was all knees in my freaking chest. So.
You guys were set to do a one-on-one match. Why did that never happen?
I don't know if I recall, Mike.
Do you think it was just like that? I don't recall either why it didn't happen.
Was he here?
Yeah, he was there.
I put him against Necro.
Necro and Pondo, he did the 1-3-way. Because he came in January.
I'm trying to think why. I remember one day on a job. Remember I was on a job site and I pulled myself up in the garage and a stud pulled out and I fell backwards into a pile.
Okay.
And I twisted my back and
So
I
then
always
you
got
were
a problem. That might be the time. I'm not
Right,
100%
that you were
sure.
hurt.
But if I was supposed to work them and I didn't,
That
might be what it was. That might be what it was.
Looking back on Cage of Death 5, many people think that's the best multi-man cage match you guys ever did. Tons of crazy bumps that day.
You know where that came from? Because they took away a lot of other things that we can do. So we had to come. Okay, they can't take away the bumps.
Right.
So that's where we kind of did more big bump. We didn't use light tubes and barbed wire, and right because there was no barbed wire involved.
Right.
Or,
Yeah, we weren't allowed to.
Did we even have glass? I don't even think we used sheets
No.
of glass or nothing. They had us cut off. So we came up with that, and it was more about big bumps. That was Ian Knox, one table with the super kick.
Right.
Thumbtacks we got away with though.
Right. Because that was
A million of them. The
a million of
fans
them.
brought
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
a million thumbtacks. I think it was legitimately a million thumbtacks.
Oh,
too,
yeah, there
at
was.
least.
And thumbtacks aren't cheap.
That was a double DVD with Lobo and
Right.
the
Which is
other
up
two.
there on definitely one of
I think that's one of the top bumps
Yeah.
ever. Yeah,
when you have three guys going at once.
that's one dangerous move.
Yeah. The cage design.
Oh,
Where did that come
congratulations to
from?
Lobo, by the way. He had a baby.
Where did the cage design come from for that?
Was that the suspended one?
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from. Besides, I'm pretty sure it came from up here. But
Because you had the walkway going out.
yeah,
The setup, I think, took you 2 weeks for that one? It was long.
yeah, it was long.
Until you had to retrofit everything. You know what I mean?
Pancos was talking with me back then. He was always
Right.
one to contribute a lot of ideas. So I don't want to say I came up with the whole
Right.
idea, but I
I think it was mainly you two.
yeah, between the two of us, I think. And then I'm good with my hands and
Right.
building things and stuff like that. So that's what makes that kind of stuff a little easier for us. Even not easy, but because I have some knowledge and I can do the things.
Right.
It's easy. It's nice I can do that. But even sometimes it's hard. Like you visualize something
And the
and then
reality
do
is-
it. It's hard.
Right.
And then sometimes me and Pancos probably have butted heads on this, where he visualizes something and
Right.
then I have to take his
Vision.
and make it.
Right.
And sometimes it's not as easy for me to do what he wants to do and keep it safe at the same time. And I
Right.
remember one time he was saying something to somebody like, I don't understand. He can do all this stuff. Why can't he just do that? You know what I mean? But sometimes it could be something little.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it'll click. I got it. And
Right.
then I could do it. And the reason I'm going into this is that one of our problems with CZW is always long running shows and taking
Right.
too long to put up the cage
Right.
or taking too long to build this or taking too long. And a lot of the things is me being a worker and sometimes being part of that match, I shouldn't be out there building the cage. You
Right.
know what I mean? I should be
Exactly.
in the back doing what I do, and the guys are out there doing it. But a lot of times the people that are putting the cages together don't have quite as much up here as I do, and
Right.
a lot of them weren't there when we did the original setup, so
Right.
it makes it difficult, and that's what makes our shows run a little bit long sometimes. But usually by the time it's all said and done, even if it takes long,
It's worth it.
it's worth it, yeah. Except for that, I think last one I was in was the worst friggin' ever, but that's later.
Right, yeah, that's not today. You talked about it, the expand, or not to expand. That's what I kind of looked at, like the beginning of 2004, because we were still on TV at that time, so we wanted to go a little bit outside the Philadelphia area, but not to a point where, well, this show's going to cost me this many thousands of dollars.
What was that, Reading and Allentown stuff?
Reading and
we tried?
Allentown. Looking back on it, what do you think went right? What do you think went wrong?
We definitely did. Well, I think what we did, we planned to go up there, do 2 or 3, give it the effort. And
Right,
If we
give it
if we can't do anything by 3, then it isn't worth doing.
Right.
And I think that's what happened. We didn't draw the people. I don't
Right.
know if it was bad areas, you know. But I know other people run shows there, but we
Right.
can't run shows with 100
Right.
people or 150 people, you
Right.
know. Especially ever since the pedophile, you know, upped the price of everybody. But I mean, it was good to try it. It was good to try to expand out. You know what I mean? Another thing, I don't think it was far enough. One thing, it wasn't far enough away from the arena
Philadelphia.
because from Philadelphia, because I'm sure people from Allentown come down to the show
Right.
once a month. So it wasn't far enough away. I think
Yeah.
that is one reason. People, oh, well, we'll see it at the arena, you know, next
Right.
month, you know. Or another thing, or we'll buy the tape. All right, we'll just buy the tape. you
Right.
know.
Because at that point we were trying to think how can we do it cost effective where we can promote it still and not get into the whole cost of well we got to put all this money
Right.
forth in advertising, you know.
Right.
And also they're always the night before. Do you think that would have been one of the? You know, I mean we always did
Again, because it's so close to Philly, yeah.
right knowing
it
the
was-
arena is going to be the
Right.
blowaway show.
Us, it was, well, like you said, we were using it, you know, because of a low budget. Guys are already in town. Let's
Right,
squeeze them
trying
on,
to-
you know, do a show Friday night. And then Friday nights aren't always perfect. People get done work at 5, or maybe they get home late, or they're tired, you know. I don't want to go. Forget, I'll go tomorrow and I'll see it in Philly. I mean, but thinking we tried. It's not like we didn't try. I don't
Right.
even think, did we last one show in Reading? I don't even think we did.
We
3
did
shows.
one.
And it was just horrible up there.
Right.
I don't know why, but you know, other people run up there, and I don't know what they draw, but I mean, it didn't work for us. I just
Right.
think it's not a really good area, you know.
Yeah.
Probably building price was right. I mean, we probably got the
Yeah,
places cheap, so
next
you
to
know that
nothing,
was
I
part of
think.
the reason why we went for it. But I don't know. It's where everything
Yeah.
takes money to make money. You know
I
what mean?
think we were spending maybe 300 in Allentown, and the Reading one we might got next to nothing. 'Cause
Better
it
than
was-
that 2,500 we pay at the arena.
Yeah. Some of the stuff that came out of early 2004 was the formation of the blackout. You know what I mean? At Cage of Death 5, he fired Marino. That led into him developing into, you know, the black.
I like that. Is that when they were teaching him how to be black?
Right.
I thought that was funny. There was a lot of good little skits. And they were doing a lot of that stuff on their own time, going
Right.
out and doing it, and it was good.
Did you think the blackout would, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like 2 years in a row we hit, like, wow, these big clicks, you know what I mean? Did you think, like, going into that, like, you know, I'm going to take, you know, like, almost like repackage Ruckus and then take 2 unknowns and Sabian and Joker at that point and, you know what I mean, make them into, like, one of the main groups in the company? Or were you just kind of, like, at that point, like, trusting, like, well, if it works, it works?
Well, if we go back to Joker and Sabian, how long have they been with us at this point?
They came back in fall of 03. So they're coming back and being pushed into a main event angle like 3-4 months in the company.
But this is after they were still training with like down at the school and all that. Was
They were in the school full time now.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were
So it was probably a good thing, and because I probably felt they were ready. You know, what I mean?
Ready.
It was time. And if you put them in there with Ruckus back then,
right.
you know, they were in with the right person. Robbie Marino, as much as everybody hates him, he still does whatever. You know, whatever
Right.
you ask of him, he
Right.
does. So I don't know. I thought it was good. I think
Yeah,
it
worked out.
It ran its course, I guess, at this point. I mean, they were their own worst enemies in there with the blackout towards the end there. I don't even know. Are they still together or CZDUB?
No, they're dead.
Because they wanted to be apart. And then when I decide, okay, we're going to be apart, then, no, wait a minute, we want to be together.
Right.
Wait, we want to be apart. At one point, the last time I remember sitting down, I got them both in the locker room. And I said, look, you don't want to be here, so
Right.
just tell him you don't want to be here, and this is what you want, and he thinks he's a friggin' superstar, and he's overshadowing you. Tell him, let's just get it out in the open.
Right.
You know, let's end it. And they turn, next thing you know, they're like, well, we want to stay together. You know, that was supposed to be the end of it, you know what I mean? And then they stayed together still. But everybody's seen Ruckus over and over again. It's the same thing, and it's not his fault. He does what he does.
Right.
But we're all in the same market. You know what I mean?
Right.
Take Ruckus around. He'd be ideal. I don't know why somebody don't take him right on around the United States
Right.
everywhere and let him do what he does, because he's good at what he does. I mean,
Right.
he really is. You know what I mean? I mean, you might not like him, and some of the fans might not, and you know,
Right.
but he's good at what he does.
The anniversary show, Madman Pondo comes back. How was that worked out? Was that a wife beat? Was it didn't wife beat her ass, to bring him in one time.
Is this after Pondos? This is after he screwed us over with the whole Japan thing?
I think that was a favor to Matt.
It sounds like it might have been. Yeah, it might have been.
I mean,
I would do anything for Matt. Matt would do anything for me.
On those early shows, Teddy Hart, flavor of the month. We bring him in. First night, he's supposed to come in downtown. He's supposed to wrestle. I can't wrestle.
And then he does 6 flips off the top rope.
Right.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. The next night, it's you and Messiah, where you have the power bomb and you get the concussion.
Right.
Which led into bigger problems for you outside.
Yeah.
But then Teddy Hart's out there, and then you give him the power bomb on the carpet strips and cut up his head. Which results the next morning. Was it his mom called you, or his dad?
No. Actually, I talked to his dad, and I think explained what I had thought happened.
Right.
That he hit his head on some debris in the ring from a previous match because he wasn't in a hardcore match. And again, this was after my concussion, and it was the next morning. And he said, "Oh, okay, John, well, thanks, thanks for looking out the kid and all that." And then next thing you know, I wound up having another conversation with him. We actually got in an argument about it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because Teddy wound up with some scars on his head. And actually, he started saying shit about my kid. He actually told me to take care of his son, look out for him. He said, but be tough on him. He needs somebody like you to get him in line.
Right.
This is what the dad told me before I even used him. He said basically he's a pain in the ass. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. And like from what he knows from what he's known and heard about me, he feels that maybe I'll be the guy to straighten him out. So he wanted me to be tough on him. Then it got to the point, I telling him, what I was trying to do for him or whatever. And next thing you know, the guy's talking shit on my kid. You know what I mean? Like, how about if I do this to your kid? I'm like, I don't want to hear this. You know what I mean? So I just ended it. You know what I mean? Well, good luck. Good luck with your son and all that. And that was it. Teddy, what's his name? Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
Is that his dad? I think his dad's might have been Teddy too. I don't know.
Right.
If I remember right.
The concussion. How did that affect you?
I was out, dude. I was on the ground, curled up in a fetal position at one point. I remember looking at I thought I was looking at my hands. I remember I hit the ground, and the first thing I said was, I think Logan came up to me. He said, "You all right?" And I said, "No, take it home." I think I said that. And then I'm laying there, and I remember it looked like I was looking, and my eyes were real weird, and my hands were moving. I remember saying, "What's wrong with my hands? What's the matter with my hands?" And they're going, "What are you talking about? Your hands ain't moving, John." I says, "Something's wrong." And I was seeing this.
Right.
But they weren't moving. I don't know why I was seeing this. I was like all in this position. I guess it was concussion, stinger, whatever. I don't know. But Billy was laid out too from it actually for a bit. And somebody went over to him and says, "Go pin John. He's hurt. Take it home." So Billy comes over and he gets on me for the cover, and they go 1, 2, and I kick out. And Billy's like, "John, what are you doing?" I said, 1, 2, and I kick out again. He's like, "John, stay down. You're hurt." But in my head, I don't remember, but all I can think is, I know I got this Teddy Hart angle that's got to happen. So I think I said, "Get me back in the ring." So Billy's literally picking my ass up because I couldn't really hardly move yet.
And he's
in the meantime, I think this stinger thing is coming back. You know what I mean? My feelings come back. He rolls me up in the ring and he goes, "Now, John, stay down." And he went for another cover, 1, 2, and I kicked out. And I said to him, "Power bomb." And it was supposed to be the spiral bomb. And when I land with the spiral bomb, Teddy was supposed to be coming, maybe springboard, kick, something, I don't remember. Something to that effect. And some of this is coming back because I watched the tape after, but a lot of it, I don't remember none of this. Like in the ring, all of it was going on. I don't remember saying it. I'm just going by what I was told. And but I went to pick him up for like the spinning power bomb. I think he got him up like maybe halfway, and I just collapsed. But Teddy was on key, jumped in, boom. And I think, if I remember, I think he might even have kicked me in the freaking head at that point, if I remember. And then we went into some spot, and whenever the spot was something where maybe a shoot reversal springboard catch him like off a moonsault maybe, and then I was supposed to hit on a move, and I didn't catch him right because I was all like still like queer street. And I remember whatever it was, I didn't do the move right, and I says, "Frig this," and I friggin' instinct, I grabbed him again, I picked him up, and I think I gave him maybe a sit out,
Right.
some kind of overhead sit out move or something, and that's where he wound up cutting his head. But they actually said that I took one of the boards and laid the board
Right.
and did it to him on that.
Right.
I don't remember doing that. I really don't. And that's what the dad wound
Right.
up seeing, I think, on tape
Tape.
later on or something. But I don't remember doing that at all. I mean, did I do it? Yeah. Could I see me doing that? Yes, because that's what I would
Right.
normally do. But I wasn't in the right state of mind. I didn't mean for the kids, head to. I mean, it's a
Right.
couple little scratches. Actually,
Right.
you should be proud of them at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
But and then I remember coming to the back and saying, he was still on the microphone out there. And I'm like, did we get him or did he get him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you're like, I don't know. And you were just stay back here or something
Right.
you were saying to me. And I says, does he got him? And, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I remember you said, like, not really. It just wasn't like what we wanted. And I ran
Right.
back out there again, right? And I don't remember what happened after that. But I remember going back in the ring. I don't know if we did anything or is that when I did that to him?
Yeah,
Did
I
I go
think
back?
that's what-
Is that
yeah.
when I did that?
Yeah. I
Okay,
think.
maybe that's. See, I really don't remember. I get bits and pieces, but it kind of worked out. Even though as bad as like I was hurt and my neck
Right.
wound up being all the vertebrae on one side was a mess after that, and I did therapy and everything else, and I really cut back and was scared after that.
Right,
I had
yeah.
that fear of like taking bumps. I did that match with the kid
Webb.
with Webb in California, like right after that.
Right.
And when I did the match out there in California, I told him I ain't taking no bumps like on my
Right.
back that I'm going to risk hitting the back of my head.
Right.
I said I'll do everything else. Hit me with light tubes to the front of the head. Do whatever you want. I said, but just I don't want to take anything and be in the back of the head. So we went out and we pulled off the match, and I thought it was great. I mean, I had fun, and I think he had fun, and it was all good. And then we were going home on a plane, and all of a sudden I got people waking me up. Sir, 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 and I'm like, what? What, we land? I thought I fell asleep, and here we landed. The flight's
Right.
over. And they said, no, sir, you passed out. I said, passed out? What are you talking about? And this guy from across the way, I don't know, he says, you were out. He said, dude, you were out. I'm like, what do you mean I was out? And then this black lady sitting next to me, she goes, you were sitting next to me, we were talking, and then you were just staring at me with, like, my eyes were open staring
Right.
at this lady. She said, and all of a sudden you just went, and my head just dropped on her shoulder. She was scared. It's almost like Sabu landing in
Right.
my lap, in Mexico. This lady thinks I just dropped dead on her. They were doing ship to shore, calling the doctors, and they had oxygen, and they had ice on my thing and all. Mondo yelled from a couple seats up. He says, yeah, John, you were out. Like, 'cause we were spread all over the plane.
Right.
And he said, you were out. And I was scared to death with that. And I came home, and I went and got x-rays right after that. And that's where I found out with the neck, my vertebrae, they were all, like, closed up, so my nerves were all, like, if I leaned
Pinching.
too hard one way, they were pinching. So I figured that was probably part of it, you know what I mean? And I think I was exhausted, you know what I mean? I might
Right.
have been a little exhausted. There was some drinking going on out there after the party. Not a whole lot, 'cause we didn't get done,
Right.
or there was a party like after the wrestling show, but it was so late. So I don't know, but it was like an eye opener. It really scared me. It scared me into like taking it easy for a while. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? It really did.
I mean, pretty much the rest of that year, I don't think you did.
yeah, I was really nervous. So
I mean, that kind of like slowed your career down almost.
it probably
Right.
did, dude. I know.
Yeah. Since that point, like
It scared me. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Right.
thinking back, laying on that floor, and your hands are doing this, and they're not really moving, and then But the doctor actually said he thought my neck would have been worse than what it was. Even though all those the way it was closed up on one side, he actually said that he thought I would have been worse. So that was kind of a good thing to hear.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me the plane story. You know what I mean? And at that point, you were just like, you know what I mean? Like even telling it, you're like, I don't know what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
I
thought I
guess.
was dead.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
So, I mean, that's the spring of '04. Right after that, Joker gets news that he's going to go overseas for the first time in like May, June.
Right.
So you guys, the one thing he wants is to do he wants to do a death match, and he wants to do it against you,
Did we set that up at the?
the school.
Yeah, I remember that was good. He came in and yeah.
I mean, what were your thoughts of like, you know what I mean? Because that was like
We
kind
did
of
an
like,
underground match with that, right? Is
Yeah.
that what we did?
yeah, it was like there was maybe 10, 15 people there. But I mean, it was really,
car.
really limited. Like knowing that one of your guys, you know what I mean? Because he just came in, you were just giving him the push. Now he's going away to defend his country. You know what I mean? What was that like seeing like one of your guys?
It was almost like a Billy moment, but different, as we talked about
Right.
Messiah earlier with
Right.
the thumb, how it kind of brings you together. You know what I mean?
Right.
It makes a warm feeling. You know what I mean? Not the losing the thumb, but
Right.
the way everybody came together. When you got this kid that kind of, I mean, we weren't the original trainers of him, but
Right.
he made his mark
Right.
in CZDUB,
Right.
training at the school hard every day. And I mean, I was proud of him. I'll be honest, I think I even told him, I says, I don't know why you're doing it. I don't think I would do it because I don't believe in what they're doing.
Right.
But I respect you for doing it. And I mean, it makes you feel good. I mean, it does. I just sent him, I actually just sent him a text the other day. I don't know if he's home now or if he's still away.
He's here.
He's here now?
Yeah.
Right, because I know Chris Cash finally got a headstone recently. Mm-hmm. Finally, but it's worth the wait. Anybody that hasn't seen it, we'll get a picture up soon. It's got him sitting on the ladder with the wrestling thing. It's got his name, and it says Chris Cash, and then
Right.
there's stuff on the front and the back of the stone. The back of the stone is dedicated like kind of to the wrestling.
Right.
But even the front, they got Chris Cash
Cash.
under his name. I mean, it's really, it's a nice thing that his mother, his mother, picked it out. That's what she wanted. It just took a really long time to
Right.
get it. But I actually took a picture of that and sent it over to. I thought I didn't know he was home, so I sent
Right.
it to him and a picture of it because them two were close. They had some great
Right.
matches, and he sent back beautiful headstone type of thing. So I still keep in touch at times. I mean,
Right.
he told me when he got engaged. I got a text message from
Right.
him telling me, hey, I got engaged.
So the blackout just don't gain
But our
steam.
match was pretty good.
That was awesome.
With the light tubes and
Yeah.
did he stomp me off of that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But and he stepped up to play for that because he didn't even want to do that. That's not what he wanted to do, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think it was a respect thing. He wanted to work me. He wanted to do
Right.
that kind of match. Maybe
And
he wanted to earn respect, and maybe he
Right.
wanted me to respect him. Whatever. I think it worked both ways.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and not
So-
knowing like
And it was an honor for me to work him. You know what I mean? To
Right.
really want to work me before he went away. I mean, I was glad to do it.
thus the blackout lost a member. So in those early shows, like those expansion shows, we used some of the Chikara guys. So Kingston, they decide that Kingston's going to take the spot. What were your initial thoughts on Eddie taking Joker's spot or no thought? It was their angle where you're just like, okay, whatever works.
I think it seemed like it was going to work because they were boys.
Right.
You know what I mean? They
Right.
all talked and kind of clicky. You go in
Right.
the locker room and you
Right.
got this group and that group. So they were boys. So I think that made me think it would work.
Right.
I'm not racist, so don't think
Right.
so. But he's Spanish.
Right.
And you got the blackout. You know what I mean? He's
And-
not black, but at
Right.
the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He kind
Nor
of
was Joker,
the
'cause he's-
urban type of
yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? So he fits. I mean,
Right.
he fit the profile. And then he carried it out. I mean, it was cool. He wound up doing some kind of a death match with me somewhere too against the
Right.
guys. I remember
Yeah.
something went down. It wasn't major. I think it was.
Yeah,
With
that
light
was-
tubes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Okay, that just popped back in my head. He left on bad terms too, if I remember right. He fucking punked out. He wouldn't take a fucking clothesline. We'll talk about that later too.
During this time, we're going into Best of S4. The original plan was that was where Trent was dated the world title. That was our. Okay, this is when he gets it. But at that point, he just totally. His demons really acted up. There was the match with him and Flash. I think it was May, where it was just he was wasted.
Yeah, he came in drunk on wine. Maybe that.
Yeah,
is that the
whatever.
time?
Yeah.
Maybe the time I had to send wife beater to go get him from home. I'm not sure.
Right.
There
Yeah,
was
I think
that
it
may be
was.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. There's woman issues involved there too.
Right.
Sometimes it does
I
not.
mean, that whole Best of Best 4, it was because I think the big advertised match was going to be Trent, Teddy, and Homicide. I think, because you did the Trent Teddy match where they just blew the roof off the place the month later, and they
I don't
didn't
know.
do much.
I was just going to say, I
Yeah.
remember I remember the fans going nuts. I remember,
Yeah.
let's go Trent, let's go Teddy, let's go, and all that,
Right.
and it was loud. and they really didn't do much. It
But
just
it
it worked.
was-
Did
worked.
they take it to the streets?
They took it to the
They took it to the street. That was kind of cool.
There was
There was
that-
somebody donated their car
That
that
Ash
damaged or
Samuels
something.
kid, yeah,
Is that what it
that
was?
would
Yeah, I mean,
drive
that,
Teddy
I mean,
around.
that was cool. The whole Teddy kid, he's flashy. He comes out
Right.
flashy. He's a good-looking kid. He does a couple moonsaults from the top to the outside, but he doesn't. It's a whole different kind of work. That dude. He don't like going. He's not like a Trent style. He can't go
Right.
work Trent. You know what I mean? Move for move. You know, he like does a move and then he stops and goes, "Look at me." You know what I
Right.
mean? That's the way he is. But I mean, it worked for him. He got over. I mean, he was like friggin' Hulk Hogan coming.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And very respectful. You know, to my face. You know, but who knows about now? I have no idea. But
Yeah, but I mean, we had that whole build-up, you know what I mean, like, whoa, never see match, and then we end up having Teddy cancel, and then Trent cancel, you know what I mean, and I think we replaced it with Jack Evans, Homicide, and maybe somebody else.
Right.
And Chris Cash, I think, was the three-way.
Homicide and Trent have good matches.
Yeah.
Homicide's the closer to a Trent style
Right.
worker. I don't think I ever had any problems with him.
No.
Homicide. I think he's pretty straightforward. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's not the happiest guy in the locker room. You know
Right.
what I mean? But I don't
Always
think I ever had
works
any
hard.
problems with him. He comes and he works. You know, he works. He does whatever he does. You know, I don't think I have anything bad to say about him.
But at that same point, for Best of the Best, that's
And
when
I'm
we were...
not punking or anything, motherfucker. I just don't think I got anything nice to say about you.
That's when there was the talks of bringing Justice Payne back finally. You know what I mean? And he didn't show up because he was there an accident or, you know what I mean? Like that whole like original plan of Best of the Best was like totally got fucked up. You know what I mean? Because the original plan was Trent was to get the world title, then Payne was to come back,
Right.
and it was one of those nights where I think we walked out of the building, we're
What
just
happened?
like, glad that fucking night's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Payne had some kind of emergency, but then he came in the next month, and then he cut the promo where like he ran Trent out of here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Trying
'Cause-
to cover it up. I don't remember what it was, but I've had a few different issues with you know Chris over the years for whatever reason. I mean, Christ, we were in Japan. His girlfriend at the time's sister died. She friggin' went over to Walt Whitman Bridge and jumped off the bridge. Middle of the night, I'm hearing John, John. He's friggin' crying and beating on my door. I was sleeping, and finally
Right.
I woke up and I came out, and he's like walking in the hall. I says, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" I mean, dude, he's losing it over his girlfriend's sister died. I mean, you know,
Right.
don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not your girlfriend, it's not your wife, your mom, your
Right.
sister. And dude, he begged me to friggin' get sent home from Japan, and I said, "I'll ask, dude." I said, "You need to go talk to him yourself." And he went to Kojika, and eventually they got him home. They did. I mean, they went out of their way and got him, you know. And then he says, "Can I get my pay before I leave?"
Right.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, we sent him home. Kojika told me, he says, "John, never again." He says, "Anybody tell them they come, they stay. And no matter what happens, I can't do this again," you know. So he sent him home. I mean, that was cool for Kojika for doing that, you know what I mean? But I agreed with him. It was a little over the top, you know what I mean? For
Right.
you know.
Um,
That was just another incident with Payne. A shit
Right.
like that's happened over the years.
at that point, what the year before our summer plan was, we're going to do the hardcore, and then that year we went with, we're going to do best of, you know what I mean, in the summer months we were always worried about attendance, so that year we came up with the game plan, we're going to do best of the best, and then 2 weeks later we're going to do tournament of death, to really try and build up, you know what I mean, so we have the funds
Yeah.
to go into Cage of Death.
Tape sales and
Right.
get some money flowing, yeah.
So the thought that year to freshen up the Tournament of Death was we were going to bring in the IWS guys finally into a tournament. And you know what I mean? And your provision was, you know what I mean, Sexy Eddie has to be one of them. Do you think the guys delivered that day? You know what I mean? We had the Necro Green Phantom match, which was
Something with a gallon of milk.
That sucked.
Terry wore that gallon of
That
milk.
sucked.
That's all I remember.
But it
Something-
was a 7-minute match that was just lunacy. You know what I mean? It was a what were your thoughts on Eddie was supposed to go to the finals, and I mean even up to that point before he got hurt, you were still like would you have put him over? You know what I mean? Because we ended up putting over. He's a mother effing mommy later. Because what the final decision was to put Beater over Necro. You know what I mean? Because it was just the two of them.
Right.
Because I mean, going into that day, would you have done like the total non-typical thing and put over this total newcomer? Because you still didn't decide.
Yeah, it's possible. After the match that he had, I mean, if you remember, I went in the ring. I brought him back to the ring
Right.
bloody and told him, dude, you're the most over baby facing, over here in
Right.
the United States right now or whatever. And said, you need to go out and just address the people.
Right.
So he must have struck something with me, you know what I mean,
Right.
where it's very positive. 'Cause you know how I am. Sometimes I work on the fly, I'll change my mind and do something. And if he could have went on, and like you're saying, I may not have been sure. I might have been watching, waiting for something to spark.
Right.
He might have been the one. He might have won it. You know what I mean? Maybe I would have put him over because he definitely did something. Because it's not that often that you see me go in the ring with somebody. It's been a
Right.
few times over the years.
Right.
I go in and put somebody over, or that might be the only person I ever drugged back to the ring to go.
Right.
Say. Buy and just keep getting that pop.
Right.
But yeah, it's very possible. I could see me doing it. Like I said, I liked that kid for a long time. I just never thought he was 100% ready.
Right.
I didn't think his in-ring work was as good as his craziness jumping off of stuff. But
Right.
I liked that part, but I always wanted to see the other get better. And he had his shit together that day, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Except for and even at it, you know what I mean?
That was.
Yeah.
That's what made him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what got you over?
And then now he's another one that went and did the Toby Klein thing, kind of did that, and then wanted to back off and didn't want to do that, and then wanted to work his sexy thing. And I mean, that's cool, that whole
Right.
thing with him with the underwear and coming
Right.
out. I mean, to a point, I mean, it works. I mean, Christ, he does the matches with that freaking crap on too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but he didn't want to do it all the time, and that's what made him, and it's like, you got to do it every once in a while, dude, you know what I mean?
And that's what, now Thumbtack Jack, same thing. He doesn't want to do any hardcore.
No. I don't know. I heard something about his dream match is yours truly, so we'll see.
He won't do it.
No.
On a side note, we'll talk about that
Okay.
later. The fallout of Trent and Johnny leaving. Now Johnny's going to start his own company.
Who?
Cashmere. What were your thoughts on that? Go
It
ahead.
would be a joke. It would never work. He's trying to be me because he always wanted to be. He always wanted to be Trent, and he couldn't be Trent, so then he wanted to be me.
Right.
That's my opinion of him over the years. He
Right.
never would just want to be himself. It's like you have to find yourself. I mean, you can watch people what they do and learn from people what they do and add that into your repertoire or into your personality or whatever, but you're always going to be you. You need to find yourself before you can start being somebody else. And as far as I'm concerned, he always wanted to be Trent, and then he wanted to be me. You know what I mean? He couldn't be Trent. He wanted to be the promoter. You know what I mean? He couldn't work as good as Trent, Them two together, it was a good tag team because Trent did 90% of the work. You know what I mean? And Kashmir did what he had to do in between, and it worked. But with them apart, didn't work. As far as him being John Zandig and promoting shows and trying to build his own CZDUB, I knew it was never going to happen. I mean, he may still be doing stuff now. I don't know if he is or not, but I always knew it would end. It wasn't going to stay. Just like he would never be Trent. You'll never be me.
What were your thoughts on the guys wanting to work there also?
I believe I said no, which I don't always do, but because
Right.
it was the same area and the way Kashmir
Everything.
he's one of these manipulating type of people, and I don't think I wanted anybody to work there, if I remember correctly. I told
Right.
him no.
Then, right around the same time, there's the discussions of doing pay-per-view once again. This time I think it's Dan Cole and Steve Carroll say, we got the outlet, throw together a show. So we do the, in September, we do the high stakes. We do the day and the night show. What were you led to believe on that whole deal?
Once again, you got people who want something for nothing. They promise you the freaking world. Oh, we got these connections. We're going to do pay-per-views. We do porn. We do this. We do that. They put on whatever Steve says to put on. He's got the pull in New York. We're gonna do pay-per-views, you know, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do another one, you know, it's gonna be great, we're gonna build it up and take it on the road, the whole thing. And I don't even, did we ever even get on a pay-per-view? I don't even know if it ever even happened, did it ever even air?
I think it was cut up and
Actually, to this day, and they were supposed to pay me a fee to do this, and I think they paid other people involved to do their certain parts of this, and they never even paid. You know, they never even paid as far as I think the boys got paid, but they never paid what they were supposed to pay, the initial fees. So basically, it was just bullshit again. Once again, there's a couple people thinking they're going to make money off of CZW, give us to sign things over, give it to them, and then on a promise that they're going to sell it and we're going to make money off of it. And they did nothing. They got it, sat on it, couldn't move it or whatever. So just once again, Steve Carroll, and the other one still pops up on. I get an email from him every now and then trying to offer me some deal, and I don't even bother with it. It's just a waste of time.
Going into, you know what I mean, so there's that, you know what I mean, like, here it is again, the promise, you know what I mean, it's, how hard is that to get over, you know what I mean, it seemed like every six months to a year is like,
somebody's coming up.
Somebody's coming
the
up.
The thing is, that's why I said you have to follow up every lead.
lead.
Even though you don't want to, it gets aggravating, it's monotonous, it's like, why bother? But you never know, the one time that you say, you know what, frig it, that could be the one. Could be some 18-year-old kid come walking in wanting to make some deal with you and do something that just got a $32 million lawsuit, you know, from whatever that you don't know about. So, I mean, you got to follow up every time. But, yeah, it's depressing. It's, you know, it's monotonous. It gets to the point, you don't even want to do it. You don't want to follow up, but you have to. You got to listen to whatever anybody said. I just passed a place over on 38 the other day over here in Jersey. I was on the way to a job with my son, and Prospectors it's called. I said, yeah, I had one of my worst business meetings in that place. This guy called me up and told me he was going to do this and do that, and he had all these things and everything. And I go meet with him, have a lunch one day, and as soon as I walk in, I look at him, I'm like, I think he was special. There was something wrong with the guy. He wasn't all there, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. But I sat there, I listened to the guy probably for 2 hours, you know what I mean? And it just nothing happened. But we're talking about this now. And I just rode past the place, and I was telling my son the same thing, how you don't know how many meetings I sat there with people, and just they promised me the world, and then nothing ever happened. And then a lot of times, not all of them, but like some of them had me so much believing it, and then I took it to the fans and would say something, you know, that I shouldn't have. Usually I held everything back, but every now and then I would go out and say, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then they don't do nothing. And then here I am looking like the freaking idiot.
And
but
this was one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I wasn't told it was going to happen, and, you know, excuse me.
Yeah, and that was one of those cases where you know what I mean, you knew the guy had the connections through ECW and everything, you know what I mean, where we're going to do it, and it just, you know.
And they just never did it. For whatever reason, I don't know.
Maybe it did air, you know what I mean, but you never saw anything from it.
No, I didn't.
Going into that fall season, building the Cage of Death, you know what I mean, Chaos comes in. Another ex-XPW guy. Who was the...
White Boots.
Yeah, who brought him in? Was that a favor of
I'm
Billy?
going to guess Billy. Yeah,
Right.
I think they were friends.
Had good matches.
I think they were friends, and I think they kind of weren't friends after the falling out with them, and then maybe they got
friends.
back again, and you know, and he brought them out here, and just
that led to like up to Cage of Death. You have the scaffold match. It's Chaos, Flash, and Messiah.
Why was there a scaffold match? Right? If I
remember,
why was there a scaffold? Yeah. I have nothing to say about it. Did we ever bring him back again after that?
I think he came back in January. Yeah, because I think you main evented January with him and B-Boy.
It was. They were the wrong people in that match.
Right. Because I mean,
my bad. I guess I don't know if they asked to be in that match. I don't know. Maybe what I gave them to work with was over and above what they were capable of doing. I mean, I guess I could take some of the blame because I couldn't work on that. You know, I wouldn't be able to work on it. But
because I think they set up the tables and then climbed back down. You know what I mean?
It wasn't good. It was bad.
Yeah, I remember you just like, what the fuck was that?
We got the chains, the secure, the come-alongs and all that. Yeah.
But then there was a night of ups and downs. You know what I mean? Like some of the Cage of Deaths are, because then you have the blackout against, was it Cash, Eddie, Jack Evans, and you know what I mean? They did the other cage match where that was, you know what I mean?
All the young guys.
Yeah, all the young guys. Where it was
Jack
like,
Evans took a nasty friggin' thing. It wasn't anything. He just got thrown off the top of the little crow's nest on
Right.
top of the cage there. Luckily, I think he hit the cage on the side a little bit to slow him up a little bit. But yeah, that was nasty. I remember that.
that was the dual dimension idea. I'm sure that was you and Pantos coming up with the two cages.
And
Like-
that's why I think we went with 2 Cage of Death matches,
Right.
which the young boys definitely dominated that night. I
Dominated.
mean, the older guys in the back, which are still young boys, they didn't even want to do the match. They said, "John,
Right.
we don't even want to go out."
Right.
After the young kids just really tore it up. You know?
Yeah,
I was
'cause-
proud of all the young boys that night.
Do you think they were, like, the more veteran guys were so overshadowed, they were just like, let's do this match and get it over with?
Probably. You mean going out because
Yeah.
they asked me not to do. They didn't even want to do it.
Right.
They didn't even want to do the match. Yeah, I think it was just let's get out of here. I think they were probably just like they watched the same match I did. They were like, holy shit, how do we top that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it went out. You know, and I do it too. You've seen it. You're supposed to check all that. When it's time
Right.
to do your match, forget everything else. Just go do your thing.
Right.
And you know me. I work off attitude sometimes, and I get pissed off, and I can't do nothing. And that's probably kind of they just couldn't check at the door and do their thing. If they just would have went and did their thing, it would have been
Would've been
okay.
fine.
You know what I mean? But
Or do you think, because I think looking at it, we were like, do you think match placement could have saved it? You know what I mean? But
yeah, but you can't put the young guys ahead of the
Right, yeah.
veterans. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it had to go.
like
that
in
way.
hindsight,
Did we put it over as we were giving the young guys a chance, but the whole
Right.
tournament wasn't put over. The match case that
Was
wasn't
really-
put over as. It was about just 2 matches, it was dual dimensions. It
Yeah.
wasn't about young boys. It wasn't like
Right. Yeah, it wasn't
if
like-
it was, then we could have put them last.
Right,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? But I don't think it wasn't really built that way, and I don't think we really expected that match to be as good as it would have was.
Right.
You know.
yeah, because afterwards you were just like, well, good luck following that one. You know what I mean? How you get sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes you see something that's like, you know what I mean, where you need like almost a core, and it was the main event, you know?
Right.
Then January, we'll close up with January of 05. Ton of talent on that show. I think at this point you know what I mean, a lot of times going into January of the year, it's like, what do we start with? You know what I mean? It was just
January's always seems like a light show. It's hard.
Light
You're like
show.
so like phew, getting through Cage of Death, and then you're starting
Right.
over again. It takes a little while to get the wheels turning again.
yeah, where that show was mainly, I think it was going to go towards the young guys. You know what I mean? Had a lackluster show, and at that point, you decide to take your hand out of the booking and then throw it my way. Why?
Probably, I would say fresh ideas, probably, because it doesn't hurt. I don't know exactly why. I think one of the reasons is that you see a lot more people out there than I do because you're traveling around, you're filming shows, you know what I mean, all over the place. So that helps. And I think that's where a lot of your booking came from, I think, video sales, knowing who sells videos.
Right.
I think you were trying to use those guys. I think it was a fresh, wasn't my intention, but I
Right.
think that's where you were coming from with your
Right.
style of booking. But I don't know, I just, I think it needed something fresh. Maybe I was burned out, you know what I mean? It just wasn't working. I needed something different. I don't know exactly, Mike, but I mean, you know, it worked. You know, I mean, things changed a little bit.
Right.
Some people were happy, some people weren't, and we had conversations about that. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I mean, it went good for a while. We didn't see eye to eye on everything. I mean, you and me we're a lot different, but when it comes to the kind of a person we are, I've always been in charge of everything I've ever done, and this is the way I look at you, and this
Right.
is the way I see your personality. I've always been in charge. I've always been a boss. I was a foreman for guys when I was 15 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've almost always done my own thing, even like with wrestling. I mean, I barely wrestled indies, and next thing you know, here I am, the CZDUB promoter. And you've always been a boss. Since I've known you anyway,
Right.
you're running guys, you're in charge of people, and then I know at one point you lost your job and you were nervous, you didn't even know what was going to happen, and a month
Right.
later you land another job, and here you are telling other people what to do. So that's like a boss position. It's somebody who deals with people. So that also probably made me confident that you would be able to deal with people, even though me and you deal with people a little different at times, which we've had that conversation. But I think that's another thing. I think it's more than one thing. You know what I mean? Do you feel there's anything any different? And you've also shot ideas to me, and you've
Right.
shot guys to me. It wasn't like
Right.
something that just happened. Like I
Right.
just said, "Yo, you're doing this." You know what I mean?
Right.
There was more to it than that. We've talked, about matches and people and all that. So it wasn't just like here. It wasn't like the TV here.
Right.
Here, Dylan. Sorry.
So you make the call to me like 4 days before the February show. If you want me to take over, put together a show, make whatever changes I want. Like, it really wasn't a lot of notice to,
Hold on. What are you, fucking scared, boy? What are you a fucking pussy like the Ian Rotten down there? You're going to retire and not do your dream match? I'll give you 15 minutes. I won't hurt you, I promise. Lace them up one more time. See what you got.
That's for Thumbtack Jack.